It is after so long. You know what time it is? It's Friday morning. Incredibly early in the morning, by the way. Hello everyone and welcome. Hello there Shadow. Hello there Liam. Welcome to the stream, you guys. How's it going? And Shadow, what do you mean I'm alive after so long? I have always been here. I haven't gone anywhere. Well then, would you look at that? It is indeed, and after all, a Friday morning. So how are you guys doing today? Hopefully you're doing good. Everyone's chilling. Everyone's having a good day, a good time. I damn hope you guys are, because today we're not gonna be playing games. Today we're gonna be working on some delicious artwork. Because I know how much you guys damn love those artworks that I do. Or that rather that most artists do, but as it happens that's the only thing I do most of the time, so let's get that going on. Now with some crazy ambient music as well. Also, hello there, Liam, you changed your name to Snapple. Oh my dog. Now I know exactly who you are. It's the Snapple, everyone. Shadow, you did draw the hand and you shared it on the Discord. I haven't seen that. I'll check it out. And Snapple, it is really very early for you. Oh no, how early it is over there. Over here it's 9 in the morning. The stream is just about to begin, and we're about to have well, lots of interesting things to do. Also, Shadow, I just looked over the hand you drew. It's looking quite good. Not about to give it a 100%. There's some problems here and there, but I like how it looks. Good job. Anyway, let's switch over to the art scene, which is the scene in which we do art, because it's the scene that has a big ass art screen to be had and done. And Snappo, it's 4 in the morning over there. Oh boy. Shadow, you don't know why, but you like 4 in the morning. It's peaceful. Well, there you go. That's why you like it. I assume it's because it's peaceful, isn't it? Oh, you boys and girls trying to make a fuss and confusion out of something that shouldn't be that hard. I forgot I haven't done my little introduction in forever, but I guess we'll keep on going without doing the introduction because, I mean, I don't know, something more spontaneous feels a little bit better. And Snapple, you wanna cook, but it'll wake people, and yeah, you did good, Shadow. Shadow says, yeah, it's the first time you did, so yeah, it has some problems here and there. Yeah, I usually sleep all day and stay awake at night. That is not healthy, you know. I mean, it is healthy to live your life the way your body dictates you to. And so long as you get a little bit of sunlight in that body of yours, then all is okay. But socially speaking, it is not very good to stay awake during the midnight hours. Okay, as always, let's go through this page here again. Well, not again, but for the first time, let's talk about this page for a little bit. Here in the first panel, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember the last page I did here on the stream. Let's pretend that you guys do know what the last page was all about. Let's talk a little bit about this page here. So after the events of last page, Jerk Magoo, he goes like gasp, something happened, and then he turns around to look at the something that happened. Then here in the first panel we see the protagonists antagonizing the antagonist, and we see humans in the back, and we clearly see that the guy here is looking, Jerk Magoo is looking at the humans, and and then here he goes and do more of his rude talk, like, he's the emperor, so busy being the humans' pet, which come greet me. And then no one budges. He's like, he loves to be trading insults, whereas this character here had a question and he keeps on hammering that question, waiting for an answer. So he goes like, the emperor is being the human's pet. And then protagonist Magoo, sideburns, he goes like, where's my sister? And then he goes on a big monologue like, fuck, find out where she is, I don't care. And then they turn around and are like, if she's already here, I might know where she is. And then they walk away. And then we have the characters here being like, if the imperial family remain in power, empire is lost. It's gonna be lost and completely bamboozled. Something must be done about it, and that's the end of the page. So that's where I'm gonna leave this page off. So I spent yesterday working on the sketch. I should have done so much more of this comic page here, but I wasn't really feeling well enough. I don't know if it was what it was that made me feel not well. I don't know if it was something I ate, if it was something I did or didn't do. I don't know, but I was feeling like really bad. Bad as in, I was feeling exhausted and sleepy and didn't have the energy to go and work on stuff that required any sort of mentality work behind it. Like, I could go and do manual work, but I could not go and do work that required thinking, such as sketching, because it needs me to think so very hard about the characters, the poses, the everything. So I wasn't able to do it. That might sound like an excuse, but it isn't. And Shadow, you said, look, these messy sketch professional lines, Doug Mastermind. I'm not a mastermind. I'm just a well-practiced artist. I'm far from being a mastermind. And Snapple says humans, and Shadow say humans must die. They must not, really. A huge portion of the plot of this comic here will hinge on the humans being there. So they shouldn't die. They should remain there. So now that I'm revisiting this page here, I wonder, because I had initially thought of something for this page, and for this fourth panel here, one thing that I had thought was for the for the for these two boils here to be there. Kinda in the background, just looking at them with an air of incredulity, like, what? Seriously, you're just gonna go and walk away? Luckily for me, these poses are similar enough, but the pose he is doing here isn't like, is neutral enough that it doesn't matter if I use it like this, because it's not the focus of this page. The guys in the foreground are, so he can be in the background, no problemo. And Shadow says, you mean humans in general? What do you mean? It's a very misanthropic talk you're doing over there. Also, now he looks like he has a gigantic body or a minuscule head. Which one do? So, how are you guys this morning? I imagine you guys, well, yesterday being a Tuesday, you guys probably woke up, or in Shadow's case, I guess you didn't even go to sleep yet, possibly. But nonetheless, all of you thought, oh, tomorrow is gonna be Friday, and when Friday comes around and about, it'll be the last day before the weekend, and then I'll have so much room and time for activities when the weekend comes by. And what do you know, we're hours away from the weekend. So what are your guys' plans for the weekend? I'd imagine that some of you may have some interesting plans. And Shadow, you're pretty awake this morning, and yeah, you're gonna eat ice cream today, so it's gonna be a good Friday. Ah, that's good. Ice creams are lovely. The last few days I have gone sort of on a ice cream binge, eating all sorts of flavors of ice cream. But when I say all sorts of flavors, I lie. It's a flat out lie, and I'm lying straight to you. I did not eat all sorts of flavors of ice cream. I ate chocolate ice cream like 3 days in a row. And little do you know, but chocolate ice cream is possibly one of my least favorite ice cream flavors, because boy does that taste like anything but chocolate. I mean, it tastes a little something like chocolate, but It's it's completely different eating chocolate ice cream and then eating chocolate, actual chocolate, or rather anything else made of chocolate. Whatever it is that is made of chocolate, chances are it tastes like actual chocolate, whereas ice cream, chocolate ice cream, tastes almost nothing like chocolate. And it's very dismaying. So what I'll be doing is having more ice cream. But this time I'll have, well, not necessarily ice cream. I'm gonna do a house mix for lunch. It's gonna be crazy. The idea is that I'll be getting some condensed milk, some lemon, and some ice milk cream. Mix it all together. Leave it in the fridge for like 15 minutes, and then when it comes out, it's gonna be a delicious little lemon mousse treat, full of flavor. And Shadow, your plans for the weekend are to sleep and play Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, well, sounds like you have a lot of plans then. And what's the program you use, Doug? It is right down below there. In the information tab, there is a little information telling you all about my setup and my everything. But I am using Clip Studio Paint EX, I think? Yes, EX. I'm using Clip Studio Paint EX. It's very cheap, very popular drawing program software. It is amazing for illustration, and it's not free, but it's cheap, like incredibly cheap. And unlike Photoshop and other programs, you only buy it once and then you have it forever, which is amazing. Because I'm all up for those programs that you don't have to pay a recurring subscription. Because at this point in time, Photoshop is only expensive because of its name. You could very well make a Photoshop with much simpler functions and sell it for a very low price, but they don't, because why even bother? So instead they make a monthly thing, which is kind of good because it is the entry level is much lower now. We don't have to throw in $500 to get this program and then start using it. The entry level for it's much cheaper now. So you just go pay your monthly fee for like $8-10 a month, and then you can already start using Photoshop. And of course you will never own the program and you have to keep paying monthly fees, but $10 a month, it's much better than a one-time payment of $500, and you get access to all the updates and everything else, and it is a good deal, but it's still $10 a month you're paying for Photoshop. And Clip Studio EX, which is the better version, better quote unquote, I paid $50 for it, and now I don't have to pay a single dime for it anymore, and I get all sorts of free updates. And so 5 months of paying for Photoshop would have already paid for this Clip Studio license. And as far as everything goes, Clip Studio is really is my favorite program to work and do stuff in, because the set of tools it has is very compact. You don't get like crazy advanced tools you don't even know how to use, like Photoshop. You get like the basic tools, and then if you choose to go to the more advanced tools, they're packed in little places, kind of hidden, one might even say, but it's hidden in a good way. It's hidden like, okay, it's not necessarily hidden, but it's not out in the open for new users to show up and be like, whoa, hold on, what's going on? Because Photoshop is very daunting, because there's a lot of options all over the place, lots of menus, and whenever you do any sort of online tutorial on how to do this or that in Photoshop, they say, go to this menu, then that menu, and you end up going through a lot of menus, none of which you've ever seen before, all of which are full of options that you have no idea what they do. And Clip Studio is much more beginner friendly in that aspect. So what I don't like here is that this guy, he has a very weird, very weird pose. The pose he's doing doesn't converse as very well with the what's he say. I kind of want to have him pointing, but the pose he's doing isn't very great for pointing. So we'll have to go and redraw this entire pose. Just as a little exercise, I'm gonna read what he's saying here, so we can go and think of a pose together. Don't know if any of you are up for that, but let's do it nonetheless. So what he's saying here is, boy, I don't know where your sister is, and I couldn't care less. She does what she wants when she wants. She probably arrived here before we did. You people should know better than anyone. That's not the kind of relationship we have. So for the kind of stuff he's saying and the way he's saying, I feel like a face close-up would be good, but we already did so many face close-ups. In the previous page, we have 1, 2. This close-up is actually very close. So I have 1, 2, 3 face close-ups in the last few pages. This one wouldn't have any other than this one, but still, it's good to vary every now and then. And this is something that is slightly interesting. Whenever possible in comics, it's good to vary poses and angles. So in this case here, it would have been a very good idea to show a little bit more of the background of the world and everything, and vary, not stay clear of face close-up for a while, unless it's absolutely necessary. But then we get into the little conundrum that this scene here has very few poses that work with it and that delivers the same impact I want it to deliver, unless I use a face close-up. So I will have to go with a face close-up, but I could have avoided this by writing the scene differently. Or by laying the page out differently. That's so every other panel had more of a medium shot showing off the body and from very far away. Because that's a thing I didn't realize per se until I started studying composition and whatnot. If you go back to my previous comics, the Golden Week, you will see that I very rarely used any full body shots, or rather body shots of any sort or form or kind at the beginning. I used them very sparingly because drawing bodies isn't very not nice. It was a plethora of face close-ups, even for scenes that didn't necessarily call for face close-up. And then later on, in later pages, I started to use more interesting angles. Took me a while to get there though, but then I started to use more angles and use full body shots every now and then, which made the close-ups feel more impactful because they weren't the norm anymore. Which is interesting too, because this is a thing that I have learned through making this comic, is a little bit of writing. Because whatever it is that you're writing, you're gonna write it differently depending on what medium you're gonna write it for. If it's a book, we'll dog them better believe we're gonna describe every single stone in this character's path, because you have the space and you have the time for that. If you're gonna write for movies or TV shows, or rather, if you're gonna write for movies, you're gonna think, I have to introduce characters, introduce a problem, introduce a conflict, introduce a solution and a climax, all in a span of 1.5 hours. So you gotta have to be very sparing with what you do and when you do it. That's so you don't end up writing, putting way too much stuff in the movie just for the sake of having stuff there, and then you have the main plot feel kinda unresolved, full of plot holes and whatnot. You know, I have only 1.5 hours to write it, so I have to. So some stuff, if it's an adaptation, say of a book or whatever, you're gonna have to cut stuff because it doesn't fit. If you're writing for a TV show, however, then damn, you better believe you have space to put all sorts of stuff, because being a TV show, you're probably gonna make at least 6 or 8 episodes, at least, and that's a lot of episodes already. And if each and every one of these 10 episodes you're doing, let's say 6, if you're doing 6 episodes and each episode is 1 hour-ish long, you're doing a total of 6 hours of something. Whereas with a movie you have to work with 1.5 hours, a TV show you have 6 hours, so that's 4 movies you have to work with. So you can put extra stuff in there and get it all resolved before the end. Problem becomes, though, when you're adapting something to a TV show. When you're adapting when you are adapting a book into a TV into a movie, you're gonna cut stuff because it doesn't fit. But say if you're adapting a book into a TV show, the same book, you can't just adapt it because books have a very books have a very concise way that they were written in. They probably have a 3-act format, which means the first act is going to be the beginning. It's going to introduce the characters, the conflict, the goals, and the antagonist, perhaps. So the first act is going to introduce stuff to you. The second act is going to be the resolution of a lot of stuff happening. The story progressing is going to be the bulk of it. And then finally the third act is the ending, where everything resolves. You have the climax, you have the big battle or whatever, the big conflict, and we have a final resolution. And if you're feeling fast, you may also have a prologue, or rather an epilogue. With what happened after that happened. So normally a book is written like that, but if you're adapting if you're adapting a book into a TV show and you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna adapt this book and I'm gonna have 6 episodes, you're gonna run into the problem, the little issue that books that are written in the 3-act format, they might not have cliffhangers so frequently. They might have been used very sparingly. So you may end up with having like 2 or 3 episodes without a single cliffhanger. And if you have a good hook, then that's alright. But if you don't have a good cliffhanger to end your first pilot episode with, a TV show might tank. A book, if it has a good hook, then you're more or less set. The reader is gonna be interested, and they're gonna keep reading to find out what the hell happens until they lose interest. So that's why you'll throw in cliffhangers every now and then. But in certain books don't need cliffhangers because some people they read the book in a single sitting, and some people they don't like stopping the reading after they have begun it. So they will power through until the very end. With TV shows and other stuff, though, not so much. There might be a huge chance that they will watch the first episode. If the beginning feels alright, they will keep watching. But if the ending of the episodes kind of doesn't hook them and gets them interested into the next episode, they might not come back for the second, especially if it's an actual TV show where episodes broadcast weekly. So if it was an unsatisfactory episode, the thought of having to wait one entire week for the next might put people off and say, well, I don't care enough about that. But since some books are not written in that format, some writers, they don't write books thinking I'm gonna have a cliffhanger every chapter or so. They if these books end up being adapted into a TV show, the writers who are adapting the book into a TV show have to do some extra work thinking, how can I more or less rewrite these events to make it to put a cliffhanger at the end of every episode. to make sure that my viewers are gonna be interested enough to come back. Next week for the next episode. You have that little problem, that dilemma there. You're gonna have to rewrite that book, but how do you rewrite it? You're gonna have to add stuff, or you're gonna have to change some stuff's order, so some things can work as a cliffhanger, whereas the original way it was written doesn't. And then you'll end up writing for TV. That's how it goes. But when you're writing for comic books, though, it changes because the amount of information you can relay isn't that great. However, that's the thing some of you may or may not know. Because comics are not so widespread like TV, are so readily available, a lot of comic book writers will throw in some really weird shit. It might not sound like it, but there are comics out there that have some weird stuff going on in them that you could not so easily adapt to TV. Go read Saga if you want to know what I'm talking about. And then writing for comics, you have 20 something pages, let's say 22, 24 pages to present, to do the same thing. You have to do the whole 3-act stuff within each comic book issue. So I have to introduce a new problem, show some stuff developing, and then present either a conclusion or a cliffhanger. But preferably a conclusion to something. And when you write your comic books with that 3-act format, you start understanding a little bit better how some things work. Because when you're writing every single issue in that format, it grows incredibly tiresome after a while for the writer mentally. It's kind of taxing to have to write it like that. But even more so if you're doing a digital comic, a web comic, something that you publish online, and especially something that you publish like 1 page a week or just a handful of pages a week, and it takes months for a single issue to conclude, or chapter, or whatever you want to call it. You learn that cliffhangers, you learn that hooks are the best way to keep your readers like peeled for more stuff to come, and cliffhangers are the only way you can get the readers to retain interest over the course of months and weeks at an end. So you start writing cliffhangers at the end of every page, which is what I learned by writing comics. You write cliffhangers at the end of every single page, and in the end you end up with something that is almost 90% cliffhangers. Every page ends with a cliffhanger. And the way it does is because I know that once this page here is done and people read it, they're gonna have to wait until the next page, which is just gonna show up next week, before they can see what happens with these characters. So doing webcomics really teaches a thing or two about padding. Can't delay too much, whatever it is that you're doing. If it's a plot, you can't delay it too much. It has to start and it has to end at some point, and it has to introduce I was gonna say mechanics. It has to introduce new concepts or new interactions, or it has to introduce new stuff at some point, or it has to conclude. You can't keep postponing it forever. I mean, if you truly want, you can, but if your readers also want, they can stop reading it for whatever reasons. So one thing that I learned to do by doing comics is to write cliffhangers into every page, but then also conclude them with and also how to pad the story rhythm. That so stuff doesn't happen every single page. There's something new and exciting happening, like like buildings exploding and people dying, but it also keeps interest up until the next page comes about, and doesn't takes too long for action to happen. Because if you guys read the Golden Week, you probably definitely noticed that the beginning is very slow until the third part of the comic, where it really picks up, and then it starts to move much faster. Until then, it's kind of very slow paced, and it takes a while to get anywhere. I knew I can go in here. The thing, though, about writing cliffhangers into every single page, such as I do with my comics, by writing cliffhangers into every single page, it is good because, like I said, it keeps interest into the readers for until next week, when a new page will be up. The bad thing with that method, though, with this method of writing, is that cliffhangers are a tool for writing. If you really want to gut wrench your readers and have them feel some heavy feelings, and really get them anxious and pondering, like, whoa, what happened with these characters? I have to know. You use a cliffhanger if you really wanna pluck at their heartstrings. That's what you do. But in my case, I don't spare cliffhangers. I use them whenever I can. I use cliffhangers into every single page, like I said. So when I really need or really want to do one of those gut-wrenching cliffhangers, it kind of gets complicated, because people have seen me using cliffhangers so much that they may have lost their effect. That's so when people see another cliffhanger, like, oh, what could have happened with this character here? Then you're like, well, I know for a fact that that's how you write your comics, with cliffhangers every single page. So it's just another thing that I know will be resolved in the next page. You don't really go, oh no, I have never thought you would have done this sort of cliffhanging, of getting this really critical information and holding out to it on it until the next issue. I can barely wait. it doesn't work very well if you do cliffhangers on every single page and every single moment. So that's why you have to really be careful with how you write these little cliffhangers here. They have to be very simple, very silly. Well, not necessarily silly, but they have to be very small, like incredibly small cliffhangers for things that are like, okay, this is after all a cliffhanger. By definition it is, but it's also not ridiculous in the sense that it isn't ridiculous. It's a ridiculous sort of cliffhanger in the sense that, wait, what have I done? Oh no, damn it. It's not a ridiculous cliffhanger in the sort that, oh my dog, I cannot wait to see what happens next page. It's just a little cliffhanger to grab people's attention until next week. And by doing comics, writing for comics, that's what you end up learning. How to write in a way that you use cliffhangers in a smart way, a way that doesn't degrade them after too long, and makes them fall flat and grow boring and uninteresting. And Shadow, you ask, is this Resident Evil 2 soundtrack in the background, or maybe RE4? No, it isn't. It's a YouTube royalty-free library of music. Because there's a thing going on, and has been going on for quite a while, that is, people should not play copyrighted music on streams for many reasons. So I decided, you know what, maybe I'll go and look up for some royalty-free music that I can use on the streams. And so I went and did, and at first it was kind of weird to find music, because like, where do you go to look for music? But then I said, maybe I'll go to YouTube Sound Library, and they have a lot of music that you can actually listen to while you do stuff. Not all of their songs are like like those ukulele songs for commercials and stuff. A lot of them are actual songs that you can actually listen to in your downtime, because they are good, they're nice to listen to, and they also provide delicious background noise for the streams. Of course, though, none of these songs will be anything that you have ever heard before. They are, after all, royalty free. So, because they are royalty free, people don't try to do them with the objective of being like incredibly popular. They do it with the objective of, you know, being music that you can put into anything to give it some sort of background noise, but something that also doesn't takes away from it. In any case, I lost my windows. Where are they? That guy. In Shadow said this some songs before that one was very similar. Maybe. Don't know if it was actually similar or it was just like low pitched enough that it felt like it was a Resident Evil song or something. Also, speaking of songs and stuff, How's the quality of the stream today, Shadow? Can you change the quality from one setting to another? Can you get it to like settings that aren't full on HD? Can you get something that you can play on your many devices? If you're here, I suppose you can. If you're still here that is. And also, hello there, Bad Aim Raccoon. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Wolf morning to you, by the way. Happy Friday. How's your day of the fry going thus far? It's kind of hard to draw this character here because I want to give him a wide array of expressions and whatnot, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard. And Shadow, you can watch it nicely today. And Coon, you said Raccoon City sucks. The people are too dangerous. And you're still sleeping. It's not even 8 yet. Nearly 8. Huh. Over here it's almost 10 in the morning, so that means you're 2 hours behind me. So I have a picture in my mind of how I want this character to look, but for some reason I can't really replicate what I see in my mind. So maybe this could work. It works a little bit better. Problem now is this hand here, and I wanna have him pointing towards the camera, but we all know how pointing towards the camera gives off weird perspective deformations that don't make sense all the time. That's kinda eh. And Shadow says the world is complicated. It is, kinda. And Bad Aim Kun says true, thought it was 3 hours behind. Interesting. And Shadow says you were, but it's not summertime here anymore. That's how magic works. Yeah, we had the daylight saving things going on, so we pushed our clocks 1 hour ahead. But now that summertime is nearing its end, thank dog, we pushed our clocks back 1 hour. That's so now we are, well, we are all, well, in your case, we are 1 hour behind. Oh, 2 hours ahead of you, rather. In the big world scale, we are in the GM3-3 time zone, which is Brazil's east coast, and a lot of of other places too, not necessarily just the East Coast, but the entire eastern Brazil is in GM3-3. Parts of the western Brazil are in GM3-4. And that's the magic of Brazil, because it's a big, huge continental country. But unlike the United States and Canada, it's not on Russia. It's not wide. It's tall. So we end up having a lot of what's it called again? We have a lot of variety in climates and stuff, but not so much in time zones. As for the United States, though, I think you guys have like at least 5 time zones. If you count just continental United States. If you count Hawaii, you have another one. So who knows even. But that's because, you know, United States is very wide compared to other countries. And Shadow says, we are all back to the past, that is now the present, but we still in the future for you. And Bad Name Kun says, daylight savings time starts in March there. Oh, then you're gonna be 1 hour ahead. So we're gonna be just 1 single hour apart. Lovely. And Kun, you said that continental US has 4 time zones. Oh boy. 4 plus 1, that is Hawaii. So that's 5 time zones in the United States. It's not as bad as I thought. If it was really huge, you could get some like real discrepancy between someone on the east and the west coast. So, Kun, you're in New York State, which means the east coast of the United States is 2 hours behind us here in Brazil. And if United States has 4 time zones, as you said, then people in the west coast are 6 hours behind us, roughly. I see how it works. And Akuroy, hello there. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Happy day of the Fry to you. They said Kim, Douglas Kim. That is my actual real name. Oh no, you have found out. You passed your driver's test, Kim. You're so hecking happy. Oh my dog. Time to celebrate, Neku. Break out the whiskey glasses and get drunk. Get hammered. Drinking all you can have. Also, congratulations for passing your driver's test. Now you're able to legally drive a car around the city. Except that there are some ifs and buts. One of the many ifs and buts is that you need to own a car that you can drive, and cars that you can drive, you have to pay the... I don't even know how it goes in English, but you have to pay a governmental fee per year to have that car, which is, you know, taxes that they use to repair the roadways in which your car is traversing. So I have come to the conclusion that if you have a private arena, kind of like a private NASCAR racetrack that only you can access, you can drive in there without needing a driver's license because you're not driving public roads, and you also do not have to pay the yearly car tax because you're also not driving public roads. So if you want to drive a car but you don't want to pass a driver's test or have to pay taxes to drive, just get a private race course. And Bad Dame Kun says Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. And Alaska might have others. Oh, no. Oh yeah, Alaska. Alaska is its own thing. And Shadow says, oh cool, I'm sure it does. And Bad Dame Kun says, congrats, Necro. And Shadow says, how does it feel to be in the past? It was really good. Your real name has Kim. It does. And Echo says, you can legally run over people. You cannot really. The only case in which you can possibly probably legally run over people is in case the people you are running over were seconds ago trying to rob you. And you assume the defensive driving stance in which you're like, okay, I'm gonna get the fuck out of here and I'm not concerned about your safety. And then in your defensive driving maneuvers and stunts, you end up running over the assailant who would try to rob you. That is the only case I can think of where you can legally run over people. Otherwise, you shouldn't run over people, Nekirai. And you know what? I don't think that this finger here looks any good at all. So instead of trying to have it angle and position in a way that makes sense camera wise, I'm just gonna have it there, existing in the world. We all know how much you guys love the world, so there you have it. Sorry. Perdóname for being rude and burping in front of the microphone. And Shadow says, nice, they don't really fix the roads, they just steal our money. But that's everywhere. And Eka says, gonna do some stuff, but gonna lurk for you, Kim. Oh, sure, you're never truly here, Necroid. I have grown used to you showing up and then vanishing seconds later. But anyway, thanks for stopping by nonetheless, and once again, congratulations on passing your test. That is super exciting, and I hope you manage to do nice, incredible things in the future. Congratulations, Necroid, and I'll be seeing you later. Take care. And Shadow says, Doug, you're not a truly Brazilian. To be a true Brazilian, you gotta have a massive name. I do have massive names. My surnames, they are not only well, one of them is big, but it's also between the 100 most common names in Brazil. Oh, both of my surnames are, but the heck. One of them is not long. Both of them are common as shit though. And also, hello there, Super Sonic. Hello and welcome to the stream. How's it going? How are you doing in this delicious day of the Friday morning? So, Bad Aim Kun, you're working from home today, is that so? That has gotta be exciting. Shadow asks, like Silva, Souza, Alves, those are not long. But yeah, kinda like those. I have very common surnames. I have even said them in previous streams. Anywho, I'm almost done here with the sketch, then we're gonna start line art, And after line art, we're gonna do some other delicious little things. What the hell? Wolf Pup 39? My dog. If 39 is your age, I'm not 100% sure you're a pup, but nonetheless, thank you so very much for that delicious canine follow and welcome to the stream. How's it going? How are you doing in this lovely day of the Friday morning? And also, thank you so very much for that follow and welcome to our friendly flock of friends. Mighty appreciate that follow. How's it going? And Supersonic says sorry for the JoJo. I will never forgive you for the JoJo. But nonetheless, hello and welcome. How's it going, Supersonic? And Kunya said, yeah, you will start in an hour. And Shadow says those are common. Mine is more common than those. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to check out in the surname popularity thing once again. Might as well do that soon rather than later. Wolf Pup, no, you just have 39 because Wolf Pup was taken. You're actually very young. Let me tell you though. Even though I have nothing against young people being here, my content is not necessarily good for young people because boy do I swear like a sailor. So just a heads up, the content I provide is not recommended for underage people. Shadow, you don't have a common name? Oh, lucky you. Name... Popularity. I wanna check again. Oh, there we go. My first name, Douglas. For, well, both sexes, why not? Let's search in all of Brazil. It is kinda popular. Over 1990, over 100,000 people had that name. Over the 2000, only a little bit above 50,000 people had that name. By which people were born in that name? Born in that decade with that name, I guess. It's more common in the southern parts of Brazil. Not so much in the northeast part of Brazil though. Go figure. But I wanna see about last names. There we go. This is a little detour from our normally scheduled content. So let's check my first name, my first surname. It is very common. It doesn't tell us in rankings though. This one time I was checking a site that actually told, this is the number something. Most common name in that part of the world where you are. Maybe this is a site. Let me do just a quick check. I'm kind of into it right now. I promise I won't take too long. Sorry about that though. And yeah, my name is incredibly prevalent in Brazil. With well, with a shit ton of people there. And in Brazil, it is the 43rd most common surname. In the world, it's the 657th most common name. My other surname, though, oh, fucking damn it. My other surname is really popular in Brazil. Is the 156th most common surname in the world, and in Brazil it is the 11th most common surname, with a frequency of 1 to 91 inhabitants. One in each, almost 100 persons have my surname. So there you go. They are ridiculously popular. Well then. Okay, back into our scheduled content. Shadow says you're not lucky. They always write them wrong. Wolf Pup says I know things that young people don't know about. You do a lot of bad things. Don't do bad things then. And you're smart like a 18-year-olds, and Shadow, you're smart like a 55-year-old. So people avoid you because of that. Oh no. Shadow says, now you're making me curious, Doug. I'll take that hint to solve the mystery behind your full name. Why even bother? It's not... There's nothing special about it. Alright, now that I'm done with everything here, I'm gonna... I am going to go and do the framing. Of this Peugeot. Also, I didn't do this before, but I think I'm gonna go and do this now for this 2 panels here. I'm gonna this one I'm gonna make it taller, and this one I'm gonna make it shorter. Of course, they still have the same size, but because of this little difference here in height, you can tell which panel comes first. It's a little composition trick I learned through doing a little training course on composition with a very, very talented comic book artist. Who has been drawing and making comics since forever, and has taken a lot of cues from incredible artists. Mateus Santoloco is the name of the guy who taught me, well, who gave the course on comic book composition. So there you go. And Cunha said, thou shalt not ask for personal information, but feel free to speculate. Oh, but of course, speculating is half the fun. But of course, if you have an actual enigma or an actual puzzle, in the case of what is Doug's surname, you will get nothing out of that. It's like, why even bother? It's gonna be... well, it's gonna be disappointing. You are going to go figure out my surnames, and then you're gonna be like, welp, my life has improved in nothing. All of my problems and my woes still persist. Learning Doug's surname certainly did nothing to improve my life. So, can I go and assume that it was a waste of time? And to which I will say, yes, of course. It was a waste of time. You could have been doing more productive things with your life, but instead you chose to go and, you know, waste time trying to figure out my name. I even bother. Anywho, Shadow says, cause the more knowledge you have, the better. I guess knowledge is power. Well, depends on the sort of knowledge, though. I mean, knowing each people's names isn't gonna do a whole lot for you. And I know that for a fact because way back when I used to hang out with a lot of furries, when I lived in my hometown, São Paulo, there's a shitload of furries in there. Go figure. Whenever I met new furries, I was like, "Oh, what is your name? Let me put it here in my phone, in my contact list, in my phone book, and stuff." So everyone would go and tell me their names and be like, "Oh, this is my nickname, and this is my actual name. There you go." And I had everyone's name memorized. Every single furry in São Paulo, I knew their names, their nicknames, and their real names by heart. Each and every one of them. But after a while, I was like, "What? Why? That helps me nothing." And then I stopped bothering about it, and then eventually I forgot their names. And my life is still the same, knowing or not their names. I'm still like, sure. Life goes on, and here am I. Now with a little bit more mental space for more important information than people's names. Especially because nowadays with this whole political correctness culture. One thing that I got out of that is that you should call people by the name they introduce themselves with. If I show up and say, "Hey, my name is Doug," I don't want you going around and calling me anything else than what I have told you my name is. Unless we have spent way too much time together, in which time you got to learn my other names and got to call me them in a friendly manner after, you know, we have become friends enough. But if I show up, introduce myself as Doug, and you go and say, "Hey, Kim," I am going to find it weird, and I'm gonna be, well, I'm not gonna be as hospitable as I would, knowing that you did not respect one very simple thing I said. Of course, I'm not gonna fully antagonize you, but I will be mindful of that. So if people go introduce themselves with this or that name, then why the fuck would I even bother trying to memorize their other real quote-unquote names when that is not what they want to be called? So that's how you go about the world. Memorizing the name that people want to be called as, the name they introduce themselves with. Anywho, Supersonic says, "Well, back to doing your extremely sad art. You'll have a good one." Oh no. God damn it. I'll see you later, Supersonic. Have a good one, and try not to get too down with the weather. A Wolf Puppy said you like to watch 50 Shades of Grey. And Shadow says, "Oh no, that's bad." A Bad Name Kun says horrible movies. And Shadow says, "But like the kind of bad that is worse than bad." And Kunya said, "If you're gonna watch R-rated movies, watch good ones." Wolf Puppy said, "The most nasty thing you saw was 2 girls, 1 cup." And Shadow can't find any what? Also, little do you know, I have never watched 50 Shades of Grey, or read the books, or met anyone that did. On all seriousness, read the book. But randomly, Spotify has those, you know, soundtrack playlists. Like, soundtracks for study playlist, soundtrack for focus playlist, soundtrack for, I don't know, having sex playlist, whatever. And one of their playlists was like movie soundtracks for activities. And they had a couple songs from 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack. And what do you know? They are incredibly amazing. But of course they are, because 50 Shades of Grey's soundtrack was composed by Danny Elfman. And if you know who Danny Elfman is, you know that he does awesome music. And what do you know? He went and composed 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack. So I don't know about the movie, I haven't watched it, but people say that it isn't like all that. But no matter how good or how bad the movie is, the soundtrack I did listen to a little bit, and the soundtrack is awesome. So even if you're not gonna go and watch the movie, at least take a few minutes out of your day and listen to the soundtrack, because that thing is very good. That thing is quality. And Shadow says, "Oh, please don't watch or read." And Cunha said, "Me either. I only read a snippet of a book, and good lord, was it bad." And Shadow says, "Read Werewolf Boyfriend if you're gonna read something 18 plus." At least it's in kids' cartoons. Kun says, "Poor Danny." Shadow says, "But by any mean. By any you mean you can't find any furry in Sao Paulo." Really? I don't think you're looking very well then, Shadow. I mean in the capital. Sao Paulo the city, not Sao Paulo the state. In Sao Paulo the city, holy shit, can you find furries? It's like incredibly easy. And even then, if you cannot find furries in the city of Sao Paulo, they organize meets every now and then. Just go into Facebook and try to find one single furry from Sao Paulo, and bang! As soon as you find one and you go to a fur meet, you're gonna find and meet every single other one of them. Of course, though, I cannot say that for 100% certainty, because back when I used to live in Sao Paulo, they used to organize meets and people were friendly-ish enough. Nowadays, I don't know how they are. It's been forever since I last been in Sao Paulo, so it's hard to say. But back then I was more friendly as well. I used to go more out of my way to meet people once I figured out how to go about meeting people. But yeah, there are in the city of Sao Paulo, there is a shitload of furries, and if you're, it's like possibly the only city I know that if you're walking downtown, if you're walking like na Sé or na Avenida Paulista, there's a big chance of you coming across a furry. Whereas other cities, such as this one I live here, the chances of you finding furries randomly on the street aren't as high. In other cities, such as upstate cities, the chances are even slimmer. Here is mostly because the furries in here, they kind of live in very different places. Not all of them live close by to one another. And the handful that live here in downtown, some of them don't go out. When they go out, they don't go out at the same time. So coming across furries randomly on the streets is kind of very iffy. Doesn't happen. In Sao Paulo, though, because it's a city that is based on people being on the streets, because of how urban it is, the chances of you coming across other people is incredibly high. Go figure. It's gotta be the city. But then again, it's like a big chance if you know a lot of people. Not gonna happen just because. And Shadow says just a good soundtrack is good though, really. Wolf Pup, you have to read Werewolf Boyfriend. And yes, do give it a read. I have no idea what it is, but it certainly sounds better than checking out Two Girls, One Cup. I don't even know why someone would go and voluntarily watch that. Back when I was in high school and whatnot, that used to be like a prank. Some kids would show up with a cell phone, not necessarily a cell phone, but a video playing device, and would prank other kids, being like, "Oh, look at this," and they would be like, "Oh, cool, naked women," and then suddenly you get this surprise, and you're like, "Oh no." They used to do that a lot, but anyway. And Shadow says you live closer to the capital, 2 hours from there. I would ask which city you live in, but then again, personal information are stuff you shouldn't hand out to people like that. But yeah, if you live close to the capital, then close to the city, you should. It is gonna be slightly harder to meet other furries, and you can't simply say I'm going out to São Paulo and I'm gonna chance upon furries as I walk aimlessly over there. It doesn't happen like that. So try to keep an eye out for Facebook posts. I don't know if they're still active, but look on Facebook for Sampa. It's a group of people that make fur meats, or used to make fur meats. Normally no Parque do Ibirapuera. Once a month used to be what they used to do that as. Nowadays I don't know anymore how often they reunite, and this group might not even be going on, so you're gonna have a kind of a hard time finding information, but it's not impossible. Keep an eye out and see when they plan to make meats, fur meats and fur whatevers, and try and show up to one of them. And also, hello there, Oni, welcome to the stream, and woof morning to you. Rise and shine. I have to think of something better though. Something special to say to you. Rise and shine, you fine K9. How's it going, Oni? Hope you slept well. Cause I know I slept weirdly as fuck. Waking up hourly almost. Today was a weird night. But it was a good night as well. And Anya says even though you slept early, you still feel fucking sleepy. Oh no. And Shadow says, so Doug is from the video playing device age. Yeah, those little MP3 players and MP4 players which used to play video. Those are crazy. A Wolf Papa says you're B, so kind of gay. And Shadow says we are almost all gay here. And also hello there Marcus, Wolf morning and welcome to the stream. Hi Douglas and hi Shad, how are you all? We're doing good-ish. Things are going a-okay as far as we can tell. I'm working on more comic book pages. Gotta get this one ready for posting. I'm doing the line art of it right now. And talking to everyone, I was talking earlier, much earlier, about writing for comic books, and then we started talking about for meat in my hometown. Which is kind of a lie when you think about it, because even though I say that my hometown is São Paulo, which is, after all, where I grew up, São Paulo is an incredibly huge city, and I live like 1.5 hours away from the city center, so I pretty much lived in the neighboring cities. But because of how extensive the metropolitan area of São Paulo is, theoretically where I lived and grew up is still considered the capital. Of that state, at least. And the metropolitan area, I mean, because it is reachable by train very easily, so theoretically it still counts as the capital, because the capital city it kept expanding sideways, and the train lines eventually they reach a very far away point, and the part of the city where we lived was the border between the capital and the neighboring city, but we lived on the capital side. It's kind of crazy, but that's how it goes.
Anywho.
And how about you, Marcus? How are you doing today? In this delicious day of the fry? Shadow says you're pretty sure gay as usual. Wolf Pup says cannot lie, if you're furry you're kind of gay. Not necessarily. That's generalization, and generalization is not a thing you should do, because it will always get you in trouble, so don't generalize. Kun, you said I know straight fur, so not always true. They're rare though, says Shadows. That's also a lie. They're not rare. It's that it's incredibly easy for you to find the exception when you live. Well, what I meant to say is that it feels like you don't know, like it's hard to find straight furs, and that they are rare, but it's because we hang out with gay furs and we're all around them, and they are part of our daily life so much that we don't see the outside. There are a lot of straight furs out there, but we don't connect with them as much as we do with the gay furries. It's kind of like it's kind of like a country. Say if you're an Asian person and you are in Asia, whatever in Asia, say you're in Japan, you're gonna see a lot of Japanese people, and when you see one sleazy American, you're gonna be like, wow, so rare to find Americans here in Japan. But if you're in America, then it's the other way around. So you see what I'm saying? It's not that they are rare, it's just that since you don't live among them, and you don't interact with them as much and as frequently, it feels like they don't exist, but they do. And they do in huge numbers. And so they're not rare, the straight furries. It's just that we don't interact with them, and they don't interact with us as much. Shadow says somehow the fandom is more straight than gay, but they are so rare. Nah. It's like I said, it's that we don't interact very much. And Kun says the fandom is definitely more gay in your experience. Yeah. Then again, it's different experiences all over the place. And Sam says, greetings Mr. Douglas and everyone, it was just passing by to say hello. You had a test today and did fairly well in it, so now you study the D&D book, be the cleric of our group. Awesome, Sam. And alright, you'll be leaving now. You wish you all well, and hugs for Marcus. Aw, that's mighty kind of you, Sam. Thanks for showing up. I'll be seeing you later, and sure thing, have fun. I would go and say don't go like too headstrong into reading the book, and learning all there is to learn, because there is a lot of information in those books, and I don't hope that anyone will memorize anything. I don't know, haven't memorized anything, and that's why we're gonna have Kun over there to help us newbies to understand better the rules. So don't worry too much about going headstrong into the book. And other than that, thanks for showing up, Sam. I'll be seeing you later. And Shadow says, here is a Scooby snack. A wolf pup, you want to eat a chocobo. Why? And Marcus, you're doing good. Douglas, thanks for asking. Well, you're welcome, Marcus. And Shadow said combat rules are very important, so check it out. I haven't checked anything out. Dog damn it. So, yeah, let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons, dog damn it. As soon as I'm done with this comic page here, and get it posted on Patreon. By the way, check out my Patreon, I do comics, and now I'm doing a visual novel project, so double the reason for you to check me out on Patreon. It's a little shameless plug there. But anyway, I have a Patreon, so go check me out in there. As soon as I'm done with this page and post it on Patreon, you better goddamn believe that I'm gonna go and start working on our campaign. I talked to a friend who DM'd, I don't know if that's a verb, but he DM'd the last tabletop RPG session I have ever played. And he did a very good job. He told us a very interesting story. He did actually act out the characters. It was very entertaining and very, very fun and very nice. So I told him, like, hey, I'm going to try and DM a RPG section playing Dungeons and Dragons. So is there anything you can tell me that will help me? And he gave me lots of pointers and directions and stuff, because I had this campaign idea in mind, but lo and behold, he's told me, well, you're gonna go to shit with that campaign, because you better dog than believe your players are not gonna follow what you're throwing at them. They're gonna go haywire as soon as possible. And I said, but my story is so good. But then again, I thought, like, yeah, my story is, well, I think at least it's interesting enough, but I can't hope that you guys are gonna follow the things I'm hoping that you guys will do without me pointing at them. So I have to really do a very good job of kind of pointing the way forwards without actually pointing or saying what is the way forward. And he gave me a few ideas on how to accomplish that, and now I have a few things in mind for our campaign. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna go and write all of that down. So we will be ready for our little session on this Sunday. That may or may not happen, who knows. People have, like I said, people are very shy about confirming whether or not they're gonna be able to or not be there. And by people, I don't mean everyone, I mean a few people. But people that are kind of needed to fuel a full party. Anywho. He gave me a few pointers and a few ideas. And I'm gonna go, I'm going to have to go and write all of that down and get it going. But yeah, I kinda don't wanna talk about you guys with it because it's a spoilery, or could be spoilery, which would ruin the game in a way. But I'm going to check out your guys' biographies of your characters and see how I can implement all of you into the story, that so everything works out. Or at least you guys have some reason to go and do the quest that I'm trying to do, instead of just kind of putting events and stuff in your way to force you down this path that I want you guys to take. I wanna use your guys' as backgrounds as well to help point in that direction and give you a little motivation to go that way, which could and should help. But unfortunately, like I said, I haven't ever played actual Dungeons and Dragons. I played other tabletop RPGs, but as a player, all you have to keep track of is roughly who your party mates are, what your character sheet says about you, and what's going on currently in the game world and stuff. But being the DM, I'm going to have to go and learn a lot of new stuff that I didn't bother learning before, and most of which will be combat rules. So that's gonna suck a little bit. Have to try and memorize all of that to get it going. Also, hello there, Rico the Die Foxer. Rico Die Foxer. Hello and welcome to the stream. How's it going? It's you, Byro. 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 Why is that name familiar? I think I have heard of you these other past few days with other streamers talking about you. Huh, possibly. And also, hello there, Hita the Wolf. Welcome to the stream and Wolf Morning. How are you guys' Day of the Fry going thus far? Rico says, good. Yeah, you changed your name yesterday. Oh, nice. Now I know. Nonetheless, welcome, Rico. I'm gonna call you Rico. Tell me if you want me to call you something else. Wolfpup says, your Discord account got disabled because your profile picture is not safe for work. You shouldn't have not safe for work profile pictures, Wolfpup. Because, you know, most sites nowadays, they have like little toggles like, I want to opt in or out of seeing not safe for work content. But, so it's gonna disable that sort of content because some people don't want to see it, or they can't see it because they're at work or whatever. But profile pictures cannot be not safe for work because that's not something people can opt out of seeing. So you be mindful of what others are doing and what others might go through before setting up that sort of stuff. And then it says, oh, guess what, Doug? For your monk class, Doggo, you can have more speed and power if you battle in your birthday suit. Really? Is that an actual thing? Oh boy. And Shadow says, yeah, you gotta have a plan B because you can possibly ruin your plans for the plot. It will happen to you before. Yes, I know. That's what I'm trying to think about. And then it says, oh my Doug, are you drawing the bones? Scully, look on the character. You better believe I am. And Kuhn, you said only monks are like that. High wisdom and dexterity mean high AC, even when naked. Oh no. And Shadow says a wolf that turns into a werewolf. What do you mean? A wolf pup, what do you people think about YIF and E621? I personally think it's, well, I mean, what even do you want me to say? It's a subject like any other, not one I would rather discuss right now, because that's not what we're talking about, like it or not. But just like having not safe for work profile pictures is a thing, you shouldn't go about talking until you know how everyone else in the room stands on that subject. It's not something you want to force people to talk about. It's kind of like forcing people to talk about politics. Some people are crazy into politics and they will love to talk about it. Some people, like me, kind of really tune out when politics talk begins. So yeah, until you know where the other person stands on the subject, you might not want to go about talking about those things. Onyu said, do you want to fight butt-ass naked or fight with a poking stick? Jeez, this is hard. You can always start one way and then randomly in your adventure change what you're wearing and what you're doing, Oni. You can say that now I'm gonna fight naked and with a fighting stick or whatever. Rico, you came from a raid of a furry animal while you were playing Resident Evil 2 Remake. Call me whatever you like. Well, I'm gonna call you Rico because that's the name I'm seeing, which makes it easy to remember. And Shadow says, Rico, you could have said, call me daddy. Oh my dog. That is a call out to my comic. Oh boy. And Oni says they should have given you a warning and removed it, but if you kept doing it, they had to disable it. And Oni, you said I'ma suplex a goblin naked. And no wait, I'ma do what you can do in Final Fantasy VI. Suplex a motherfucking ghost train. Really? Oh boy. I have never played those other games, so I don't know about that. But I mean, sure, if you can do that, good on you, Oni. Also, there is this YouTube channel called Geek and Sundry, where they host, what's it called? Matt Mercer's adventures in dungeon mastery and what have you. They also had another playlist, which is the Get Started or something. I don't remember what it was called, but it was pretty much this guy saying, "Hey, my name is blah. I'm gonna DM a campaign for new players should come in and play." And then he went and invited a few people to play with him. A couple of people who had played Dungeons and Dragons in the past, and 3 people who had never played it ever in their lives. And he was like, well, now that you are all here, let's play this game. And then the first entire episode was just them creating their characters, which was interesting because I did not know about this whole, let's roll for attributes, and then you roll a die and, well, roll a few die and then that's how you decide your attribute starting points. And I was like, huh, I did not know that. How interesting. And then after they created the characters, they went in and started playing the game. And then every now and then he went by. It didn't just go and say, "Oh, this happened because that's what the dice said." He goes and said, "This is gonna happen because you rolled this dice, which means, which was for this number here that you can see in this character sheet, and you had to roll a number that is higher than this character that only I know the number, the threshold, and stuff, yada yada yada." He went and explained the concepts and the mechanics and whatnot, and it was really good because I got to learn a shitload of new information from that. I got to learn a lot from from watching these people play and these new players going and say, "Hey, why did this happen? I don't understand. Tell me, why did this happen?" And then they go in and saying, "This happened because of this and those things and numbers and rolls and whatnot." It was fun. And really helpful. But even though I watched that, and just by watching that, I am more prepared to deal with the role of being a dungeon master than I was beforehand. I'm still feeling kinda overwhelmed with the idea of the possibilities and whatnot. In other words, I'm anxious. And I don't know if there's anything you can do to reduce a little bit the anxiousness as a prospect DM. But if there is, please, dog, tell me. I need to know. And Shadow says Final Fantasy VI, I was playing it last morning. And Bad Aim Kun says Geek and Sundry, Critical Role. And only you sent in a YouTube link, let me check what that is. Oh hell no, it's a video about Final Fantasy. And it's possible, you said. And Shadow says I don't know how to watch Critical Role, you went to the channel but I got so confused. And Kun said looks for Campaign 1 playlist and Campaign 2 playlist. And Shadow says like, where to start, what is canon, what isn't. There was no playlist, at least you didn't found it. And Kun says Campaign 1 start when they're already in the middle of stuff. Oh yeah, let me see if that's the one I was looking for. It is the one I was watching, more or less. I watched, wow, my dog, that's a lot of... so many videos. So many episodes, all of which are 3 hours long. Boy oh boy. How even? I'm never gonna be able to watch all of that. Boy oh boy. Do I have something to binge watch now? YouTube doesn't even say how long this entire playlist is. And this is Campaign 1. Shadow says OMG, 3 hours per episode. That's a lot of hours. And yeah, each episode is 3 hours at least. Listen while doing other stuff. And Oni says have comedy scenes, dogs. Sometimes in D&D there's comedic parts. Huh. And Shadow says, hey Bad Aim, since you played D&D before, is it normal if a party takes 6 hours just to get half the dungeon? Even though it's not that long of a dungeon. I mean, it is possible for anything to happen, really. Because of the possibilities. I would imagine that, you know, party cohesion is a big factor. Because, in a way, no matter how good you are at the game, you cannot tell your party mates what to do and what not to do. They will do what they want to do, they might take suggestions, but they can't very well go and do. They might go and do stuff you did not plan for them to do. So even if you know the rules inside out and you know the best combos and whatnot, they might do something very unpredictable. And the DM might also go and decide to not change the difficulty of the encounters on the go and keep it the way it was originally planned. Or you might have really bad luck. Who knows? One thing that I have noticed, though, for sure, is that a lot of campaigns are... dungeons, rather, are... they have like extra rooms and extra places and treasure troves and whatnot. And lots of little encounters and shit. And stuff that ends up never getting used because the players never end up seeing it. So if the players don't have a very good sense of direction, they might wander into rooms that they might keep going around and never really going towards the goal, either on purpose or by accident. They might wander around and never really get any closer to reaching the goal or the objective, which ends up making them taking longer to reach the dungeon per se. So yeah, I wouldn't doubt if a dungeon takes more than 6 hours. So who knows even. And then it says like trying to catch an apple or catching a fish to eat, stuff like that. And Kun says sometimes the player explore a bit much, sometimes there's a lot of fighting, dungeons can take a long time. And Shadow says your players expect everything from you, everything is a possible danger to them. And they're not wrong, says Kun. Shadow says sometimes they explore so much that they end up finding bad stuff. And Oni says this, a small fighting boy will try and fall off a tree. Why would you try and do that, Oni? It's not a thing you try to do, it's a thing you try to avoid doing. Normally. So Shadow, tell me more about your Dungeons and Dragons experiences. Apparently you do go and play with friends, I suppose? And you guys end up doing whatevers? Crazy ass things? Tell me more about that. Because one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go and start this whole Dungeons and Dragons thing here with us was because Teddy said that he wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons, but his friends didn't want to play Dungeons and Dragons with him. Or rather, they said, sure, let's play, but then they ended up not paying attention to the game, checking up their phones instead of, you know, paying attention to the story, the narrative. And in the end, the game didn't move, and people were like, I don't feel like it or anything. And I said, well, we could try and host our own game here. That's so you can get to play. And at first I thought like just have a room for you guys to organize your own game, but then I said, well, you know what? I always wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons myself, but I never had anyone with whom to play. So I might as well try. So that's why I decided to get all this thing going. So it was mostly that so Teddy could have someone to play with, and because also Bad Aim Kun, you said that you're like you're very versed in the game and you know the rules kind of inside out, I guess. And because of that, you said you would help us. So I'm gonna accept your help into doing the everything. And also, hello there, Doomed Lioness. What an ominous username. Nonetheless, hello there, welcome to the stream. Thank you so very much for that delicious follow, and welcome to our canine flock of friends. How are you doing in this delicious day of the fry? And you also said Anthro Comics insta follow. How you better believe it's an anthropomorphic comic that I'm doing and getting paid very little. I should be getting paid more, but then again, I can't very well expect people to just go about and hand me money. Hence why I'm gonna stop doing comics. But Doug, you love doing comics. Why would you go and stop doing the thing you love? Because I'm gonna start doing that visual novel project I'm doing, and I'm gonna make that my main thing, which will hopefully make people be like more like, oh, that's a cool thing, I wanna be a part of that, and get people to give me money through that. Patreon is such a delicious little thing though. Anywho, Tigers, you said don't fall off a tree, Oni. Yes, Oni, don't. And also, hello there, Tiger, welcome to the stream, and Wolf morning to you. How's it going? How are you doing? And Shadow says a tree can kill you, Oni. And you never played as a player, says Shadow. Really? Which is bad when you start DMing. And Kun says glad to help where you can. Where and how you can. Yes, I'm totally gonna expect your help. And Shadow says, but yeah, you did anyway cause someone had to DM and no one knew how to play. Well, that's mighty kind of you. So how big a group do you play with? Do you play the official campaigns or do you make campaigns of your own? How does it goes? Tell me all about it. And Doom the Lioness, I said K9s. Oh, I see. Time to live as a feline. Oh no. And you love drawing comics. Wanna do that in the future, but first you're practicing anatomy at the moment. Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna do a little bit of shameless plug. Oni, if you can, please help me out on this one by posting up the link I'm gonna say. You can always go to my site, which is douglas-kim.com, is my official site where you can go and check out my comics. The first comic I did is called The Golden Week. It's from 2012, and I decided to start the comic even though I had very little idea on how to do anything comic related. I had no idea how to format stories, how to write stories for comic, how to draw. Well, draw was actually possibly the only thing I knew more or less how to do. So I started doing that comic knowing very little, and it kinda evolved into a more concrete project as it went on. But I kinda just said, you know what, I wanna do a comic, so I'm gonna start a comic, and that's how I got it going. So yeah, even though you might wanna tell yourself, hey, I'm gonna study anatomy and shading and lettering and whatever until I get really good at it, eventually you're gonna have to admit to yourself that you're never gonna master it. I mean, you are gonna master it, but you will never truly. If you take your while mastering it before you begin it, you're gonna begin it like 5-10 years from now. Whereas you could start it right now and master it as you go. Which certainly is like, but I want my comic to be perfect, I want it to be awesome, and I want everybody to love it and marvel at how great it is. And while that is a very true concern, sometimes it isn't worthwhile waiting until you master a few skills before you begin the thing. Sometimes it's best if you just go and begin the thing right away and learn on your off time. And I say that because, you know, doing comics and doing art is my main form of employment, of self-employment in a way. So it isn't worthwhile for me to not be doing art. If I'm not doing art, I'm pretty much not earning money, which means I would have to stop doing whatever pursuits I'm doing and go have a normie job, an office job doing whatever, or even any sort of job really, doing any sorts of whatevers. Which is time I could have been working on the comic. And just by working on the project itself, you're already practicing. So you're practicing on your off time as you go and do studies, and you're also practicing as you do the comic. Because you think, oh, for this scene I want to do this or that pose or this or that angle, and there's nothing like real experience to get you prepped up and ready to go. But dog damn, kudos to you for wanting to get started with comic doing. It kind of becomes weird after a while, but it's a very, very, very nice little endeavor to get going, or a big endeavor if you want to make it big. And the coolest thing about comics is that you can do it all on your own. It doesn't take that long or that much to start a comic of yourself and get it going. So there you go. Hooray for comics. And Nekio says, hello, you are flying too, let's bully Kim. No, Nekio, no. Don't bully me. I told you not to bully me, and then that's the first thing you think about doing. God damn you, Nekio. Shadow says, oh, I'm typing all about it here. Hehe. Oh man. Let's expect a little wall of text to show up at any time. And Doomed Lioness, you have drawn comics in the past. Quite a few, but you want to be able to do proper figures, don't want stiff characters. And Anya says, but what doesn't kill you make you stronger, that's the way of the Burner Monk. And Doomed Lioness says, I saw the comics you did, really cool, you have them for free. Yes! Because I know nobody will pay to read them, so might as well make them free and have a little tip jar. And say, hey, if for whatever reason you enjoy these comics, please give me a few coins and and food. But I know that if I were to charge people, like, hey, you cannot even take a glimpse of this comic before you pay me, I would have a much smaller readership. So might as well not do that. Especially when you're a small indie comic book artist / writer. Limiting your audience is not always the best idea to have. Unless, of course, you go and actually make something worthwhile and get it published and then say, hey, people, buy it, and you get cool, influential friends to go and give it good reviews, then sure, you manage to get some exposition and have people buy your comic and stuff. But then again, you don't get that out of nowhere. You probably already spent quite a lot of resources and time getting that going. But anyway, comics are complicated. And then he said, Neck, you don't bully Doug, bully me. And Doomed Lioness says, comics are good practice, it's just a lot of little drawings, I know. But it just takes you long to draw figures, so you want some speed in that, and you write down ideas for comics in the meantime, or create some characters. Oh, that's good. But yeah, drawing comics is also the best way to practice drawing comics, because when you start drawing comics and you do like I did and commit yourself and say to people, hey, I'm gonna upload one page every Friday, and then people are expecting new pages every Friday, and Friday approaches and you're like, shit, I'm not done, I don't have anything to upload yet. And then you learn as time goes by, you kind of learn little tactics and little techniques to do faster comics, and that's a panic-induced state of high-pressure learning that practicing drawing on your off time will not give you. So committing to start a comic and doing it is good in that sense. The sense that you do actually get to practice in real time. And there are real stakes in case you end up not doing it. And Doomed Lioness says, I'm a poor student too, but I might consider Patreon. Enjoy my government money and pizza. And yeah, Patreon works for me. It doesn't work for everyone, and it works for me in the form that is comic book work. I am not at all going to be able to foresee how it's gonna work out. Once I go and do the whole visual novel project, because I know how comics work on my Patreon thing, but I don't know how they work with my visual novels, because I've never done that. So while Patreon is actually currently works for me, I don't know anything about its future. And then it says, I'm just doing sinful art as premiums and normal drawings as normal stuff. So far nobody wants to pay for supporter only things. What do you mean, Oni? You mean on Coffee? Is there a supporter only things like the... I don't know what that is. You'll have to go and explain that to me, Oni. But in the meanwhile, Kun, Bad Aim Kun, you had said... Wait, where is this guy's mouth? Shit, I hadn't done it. Kun, you also are incredibly well versed in Dungeons and Dragons, apparently. did you play much, or was it more so that you, like me, always saw people talking about it and saw people having fun with it and you wanted to play it yourself but didn't really have a way to do it, so but you went the extra mile and actually started watching people play the game, like in live shows and whatnot? Or how did it go for you? And Tiger, you also showed up on the thing and you got a character yourself. Does that mean you plan to play with us? Question mark? I'm not sure. And Marcus is say, what do you mean with this? So far nobody wants to pay for support and all the things. Actually, you don't get it. Do you know about Patreon, Marcus? It's kind of like a monthly subscription thing. Oni has gone and created, not a Patreon, he has gone and created a Coffee, which is kind of like Patreon, but not really. And the idea is that you go and you give him a little, what's it called? The idea is that you go and kind of give, it's a tip jar, a digital tip jar. You go and tip him money, and he can go on this, can go see who tipped him and give out little thank you notes. And what Oni has been doing is he has been writing down little he has been drawing little rewards for people that reward him, which is a travesty because we're supporting him with a lot of money, well with very little money, like $3-4, and he's drawing like very good finished drawing and illustrations which are ridiculously cheap. So it's almost a crime how little we were paying only for the things he's doing. So yeah, Oni, please post a link to your coffee in here in the chat so the good boys and girls can see what the hell is going on with that. And also, hello there, Fortnite. Welcome to the stream, and thank you so very much for those delicious bits. Those pride bits, the best kind of bits are the bits you're proud to give away. How's it going? Also, happy Wolf Morning and happy day of the Fry. How's it going? And Kun, honestly, you haven't played much. Most of your knowledge comes from watching the shows you mentioned. You actually play now in a campaign that's every other Saturday at 10 PM your time. Oh, that's good, I guess. When did you started playing Kun? Because from what I had thought and gathered, I thought you were not playing at all. You wanted to, but you weren't. Kun, you also said you have a friend north of you that helped guide you. Oh, that's cool. Although north of you would be like Maine, I guess. I don't know geography. And Fortnite says, hi there everyone, and hey, no problem, I'm doing good. Oh, that's awesome to know that you're doing good. Also, welcome to my stream. I don't know how many times you have been in here before, if you ever have been in here before. I guess you have, because one of these days you hosted me, I think. Not sure. I'm bamboozled. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed here. And thanks for stopping by. Feel free to stay for as long as you want. We're working on some delicious comics now. Marcus says I support Douglas on Patreon and he doesn't even knows you. What? What do you mean? Also, are you a Patreon supporter? I didn't think you were. Actually, now that I think so, I actually think you are. What? I'm confused. I normally don't expect people to support me in two places. If you're supporting me on Patreon, I don't understand. I mean, I do understand, more or less. But it bamboozles me that you would want to go and support me also on Twitch. So that's That's crazy. It's a feeling that I'm like, what? Why? Why so much generosity? And there you go. Oni posted you the link to your coffee. So Marcus, the link that Oni posted is his coffee. That's where he people can go to support him with delicious little donations. Sort of as a tip jar, you kind of donate $3 for him, and that helps him with well, helps him slowly build up his dreams and everything else that's going on in his life. Now, why am I urging you to support Oni? Because Oni is an incredibly amazing boy. He has been here in the channel forever. I made him into a moderator, and he's been moderating here and on the Discord non-stop. He's the only moderator that I have that actually sticks to it and does it. The other two, they kinda well, they got employed and decided to go and work on their real life job, but Oni is a good boy and he sticks around even though he has a real job as well. And I'm really grateful for Oni, and I kinda do have ways to repay him, but I don't. But I should. And it shames me that I don't repay all your kindness, Oni's kindness, towards me and the channel and everyone else. So that's why I'm urging you to support Oni instead of me. That's so we can get him all the love and care he deserves. Because dog damn does he deserves all the love he can get. And Kun, you played a few smaller campaigns like one-shots a few times, but that's it, really. Since then you studied what the two shows did and explored the rules yourself, and now you know quite a bit. And north of New York City equals upstate New York. Oh, I see. But even further north is Maine, isn't it? I have a slight suspicion that it is. I might be getting my geography wrong, but I think north of New York City is the city of Washington, D.C., I guess. And even a little bit further up north, or around there, that area, is Maine. Or not, I don't know. Don't even ask me about Brazilian geography, I'm gonna get that even worse. This is never ever mentioned in movies or anything, I can't very well tell. And Marcus says, I am Douglas, but I don't drink coffee or usually drink Coke. Oh, Marcus, you silly boy. And good on you, you shouldn't drink coffee. We were just talking about this yesterday, me and 104. That this past few days we ran out of coffee, and we didn't buy extra coffee because we're lazy. And because of that, yesterday when I went to make coffee, we didn't have enough coffee to make, so I made coffee only for Merlion, and I went without coffee because I mean, like, sure, I don't really mind. But the other day I also didn't have coffee because I don't remember why I didn't have coffee. But now, yesterday yesterday, I spent the entire day with a looming headache, which I believe, I am almost 100% sure, was coffee withdrawal headache. Because little do you know, when you get like to the level that I am, where every day you drink 2 mugs of coffee, if you go a single day without coffee, you'll get withdrawal headaches. And normally when that happens, I say, you know what, from now on I'm not gonna take coffee anymore, and then I go for a few months without drinking coffee and the headaches stop. And then a few months later I say, you know what, I'm gonna have just a little sip of coffee, and then it starts all over again. But luckily enough, coffee isn't that damaging a substance as other things that causes quote-unquote chemical addiction. So it's kinda good so far. But I try not to overdo the coffee. But anyway, good on you, Marcus, for not drinking coffee, but still, Coke is not that much better. But anyway. Fortnite says, thank you, I follow you and try to visit many streamers you follow on your day off to show support, and as a professional courtesy, of course. Oh, that's mighty kind of you, Fortnite. And yeah, I wish I could, really. Stop around and visit more streamers and show off more support to people and friends and, you know, network a little bit more. But as it happens, as of late, I have taken on so many new personal projects that it's hard-ish for me to join up on streams, hang out and stick around, and also, in the meantime, also keep on working on my stuff. It's not, I tried. But it's hard for you to remain focused on your work, especially in the sketch phases of work when it takes so much of your thinking power and concentration. When you're also watching other stuff, it's kind of hard. But I definitely, totally should spend a little bit more time meeting other people and supporting other streamers. Nonetheless, at least one of us is doing that and being the better streamer. So thank you for being awesome and being here, and for the bits as well. Thank you for so many and so much things. And wow, Kun, you said Oni is a good boy. Marcus says, yeah, we are together since 19 months on Patreon. Wow, that's a lot of months. Fuck them. But still hiding. And then he says, but yeah, spicy safe words are supporter only. And Kun says, Maine is so north it's almost Canada. Washington DC is south of here. Really? I got it wrong then. But yeah, see, I knew that Maine was north of New York City. Don't ask me how I knew that, I just knew. I like looking at maps every now and then. I'm realizing my knowledge of world geography is really outdated. Really faulty. And being like, wow, you did not expect this place to be where I thought where it is. I thought it was elsewhere, but anyway. Looking at maps is good, you know. We should all do that more often. I should do that more often. And Oni says, bad aim, Kun saw them. And Kun said, you did. And Oni, you did great work. And then it says, Marcus is a Coca-Cola addict like you. And Marcus, I don't drink 24/7 Coke. I would say 2 to 3 water, 1/3, or 2/3 water, 1/3 Coke per day. Cause he was drinking too much Coke. You did the opposite, since you quit smoking, and now you try to change back to 2/3 water, 1/3 Coke. Or you could go even better and do no Coke. How about you try and replace Coke for lemon juice? Just buy some lemons, get a big ass cup of water, squeeze in those lemons and drink that. So much better for your health. Or not necessarily better, but it's not as bad for your health as Coke. Especially if you have like normal Coke, regular Coke, because that thing is packed with sugar. And little do you know, sugar is very bad for your health. Like, actually bad. It creates chemical addiction in so many other things. In fact, not only like I was talking about coffee, I did go back to drinking coffee, but now I'm not putting sugar on coffee anymore. I drink black coffee because coffee is bad in a way. It is addictive and has other possible maladies, and sugar as well is bad for your health. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna cut coffee. Then I cut coffee, and then I went back to coffee. Then I said, well, at least then I'm gonna cut sugar. So now I don't drink coffee with sugar anymore. I drink just regular black coffee. And not to say like, whoa, now I'm the paragon of good health, but those things are bad, and whatever you can do to reduce consuming them, you should try and do it. Reduce how much of those things you consume. And Marcus, I hope what you wrote makes sense. It does. It totally does. And Fortnite, you completely understand. You think art creators have to access so much more inspiration. It only makes sense to not have a lot of spare time. Yeah, it's kinda weird how that happens, because it's not necessarily inspiration per se. Watching other people do stuff, like watching creators, streamers, other artists, or even people just doing their specialities or whatever, it is inspiring in that you watch someone do something that they are good at, or that they are passionate about, and you see them do that thing, and that inspires you to go and do your own stuff. But when you get inspired, then you need to also put in the work, and that's the tricky part, is putting in the work. To put down the work, you need you need a lot of concentration. For doing art, for example, doing art takes in the comics here, I need the concept, and the concept is the sketch, which you can see here in faint gray. That's the sketch. You get to see the sketch. It's all over the place. It's not very precise, not very concise, but it gives me a good idea of what to do and what to expect. And the idea of this sketch is that I have to focus when I'm drawing that. Otherwise, it takes me forever to do it. A sketch is a very simple artwork. You can do a sketch for an entire page in 1 hour if you're focused enough, because all you're doing is drawing characters in different positions, and if your mind is clear and your environment is collaborating with you, you are able to focus and concentrate on that and do the sketch very fast. But whenever I put up some YouTube videos or put up some streamers or anything else that I want to watch as I work, it takes me forever to do the sketch. It takes me an entire day, because I keep getting distracted and looking away, and I don't fully concentrate on the work, and that is bad. I mean, it's not bad per se, but it's a bad use of my time, because I could much easily go do the entire sketch in a couple of hours, and then spend the rest of the afternoon doing this manual work here, that is the line art and coloring, that are more mechanical things that I don't need to focus as much. And those things I can do while streaming or while watching someone else stream. But the sketch part itself takes a lot of concentration. But yeah, in one way or another, it does makes us have less spare time, because we need to spend more time thinking about those things, and that's not very fun. And also, Shamal Wolf or Kamal Wolf, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Hello and welcome to our stream. My name is Douglas, and I hope you like it here. Thank you so very much for that canine follow, and welcome to our friendly flock of friends. I hope you're having a delicious day of the fry. Oh, how are you doing, by the way? And Marcus has said, I guess the taste is kinda too sour for your taste, your lemon thing. And to be honest, on countries with a nice heat, the lemon drink tastes way better as in a cold country. Oh yeah, that is true. Little known trick, you can always put it might sound weird what I'm gonna say, but hang in there, stick with me. When you make lemonade, when you squeeze lemon in water and stuff, you can add a pinch of salt, and it cuts the bitterness of the lemon quite a lot. It cuts down the bitterness, and the lemon juice or the lemon beverage becomes much better tasting. But yeah, I guess you are right. In hot countries such as Brazil, southern Brazil, lemonade is so much better than in cold countries such as yours. And Oni, I have took many concepts, never finish. Oh no, finish those concepts, Oni. And Shadow says, okay, here comes the Bible, get ready. Oh boy. And Kamal Wolf says, Shatmal Wolf. Shatmal? Shatmal? Is that how you want me to call you? Also, great to know that you're doing good. Hope you keep on doing good. And Shadow says, Douglas. At first, I used Dungeons and Dragons to make my own system when I was on vacation, so I could play with friends at school. It didn't went so well because most of them didn't even read the rules and the basics, so some were left. They studied the combat rules and were like, boy, I'm doing this and you can't stop me. Anyways, I first started hosting a game with 13 players. Holy shit, that's way too many people. You did wrote your own campaign and stuff involving the players' book that took some time. I also did draw the world map that wasn't that big. But still, that's a lot of commitment to put into that. Kudos for you, Shadow. And Kuhn says 13 players, madness. I think the 7 or 8 Matt Mercer runs is a bit much sometimes. Yeah. I mean, I think that a party with more than 5 players is already a clusterfuck. The ideal number is 3 to 5. Anything more is like, whoa. Whoa, hold your horses, hold your tits. We can't do that. Then again, let me think again. It was those 2, then those other 2, then that 3rd person, 5th person. Yeah, even the Dungeons and Dragons TV cartoon had like 5 characters. It was the barbarian boy, the wizard girl, I guess, the sorcerer girl. Oh no, there was also the other wizard boy with the magical hat thing. There was Eric the Knight, the only guy whose name I remember. There was the ranger, and there was the other girl who was an Amazon, I think. I don't remember what class she was, whatever class she was, and the unicorn mascot, but he doesn't count. So it was 6 characters. Okay, I remembered every one of them. I had forgotten about the magician boy. But yeah, even 6 characters is like too much. One of them always gets overshadowed by the others in the episodes. And Marcus says, how much lemons do you use and how much salt on water? Okay, get ready for some delicious metric. You can... a big bottle of Coca-Cola is like 2 liters. And for 2 liters of water, you can easily do 1 entire lemon. It helps if you do it on a blender. because you really get all of that juicy lemon. So yeah, you cut down a lemon in pieces. Try to take out the the peel, and the inner part, that little white core part of the lemon. Try to cut that out as you cut it down into pieces, and then you also go and throw like a teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of salt is like already more than enough for 2 liters of water, I think. And then you put it in a blender, make juice out of that, and then you I don't know the English word. You filter it. You pass it through this little grid with a filter thing to take out the lemon leftovers. I don't know the name of that, but anyway, you filter out the lemon leftovers, and there you have your lemon juice with salt, which cuts down the bitterness. And 1 single lemon is enough for 2 liters of water. If you feel like the taste is too if you feel like the taste is like too soft and you can barely taste the lemon, then sure, by all means go and add another lemon. If you want, you can also go and make 2 lemons for 1 liter of water right from the get-go. Maybe just put in a little bit more salt, or with 1 lemon for 2 liters of water, maybe you don't even need a salt. 1 lemon for 2 liters of water will get really watered down, so the bitterness of the lemon will be almost fully lost, I think. So yeah, it's more of a try it out, experiment, see how it goes. I, on the other hand, will not be doing lemon juice. I'll be doing lemon mousse. I'll get me a full lemon and a little bit of condensed milk and milk cream. Put it all together in a little cup. Mix it good, and eat it with a little spoon. I'm gonna go and fill my face up with that deliciousness. I'm gonna go and nom all of that. That will be my lunch. I think it shouldn't be my lunch. In fact, I actually think I'm gonna go out and look for a real restaurant to have lunch at. But if all else fails, I have that trick thing. And Bad Aim Kun says, then you saw Chris Perkin control stray 5 NPCs during a single encounter, so boy oh boy. Now Marcus said that lemonade is not a big thing over there. Shadow says, yeah, those 13 players never played, just 4 of them. Oh, 4 is more manageable. And Bad Aim Kun says D&D Cartoon had 6, and Shema Wolf says yes. Okay, so I'm gonna call you Shetma Wolf then. I am gonna also try and remember that. And Shadow says Barbarian, Rogue, Knight, Ranger, and Acrobatics. And the Sorcerer, since he has wild magic. Wizards don't have wild magic. Acrobatics is a class? And Marcus says, okay, thanks, I'll try it. And Shadow says, oh no, I hope Doug reads your Bible. It took some time to type. I did read it. I read it all. And I think Tiger has gone AWOL because I asked Blue Tiger a question and Blue Tiger has not come back with an answer, so where could he be? Oh no. And Kun, you said Acrobat might have been a class in an older version of D&D. Might have. Have they done that? Have they added or removed classes with each version? I guess that they would have. I imagine that the first version ever of D&D was like very rustic, very limited in certain aspects and parts. That's so they had to go and expand upon certain areas. In fact, some friends, my alliance's friends as I call them, whenever they went to play games and stuff and thing, I'm almost 100% sure that they always kept arguing about which game system to use, and they kept arguing and decided to go and use 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons. And I wonder, what is so different from 3.5 to the newest? Why bother using the older system if you can use the newer system? And I never knew why, and I still don't know why they prefer 3.5 over 5. I'm not 100% sure if it is like, if it is some reason like, we all played 3.5 growing up and we all, well, not all, but some of us have the book printed, downloaded and printed in some form or another, that so all of us are familiar and know the rules of 3.5, so why bother change to 5 if 3.5 was always suited our needs and it is familiar enough? Because if you use that argument, sure. Unless like Dungeons and Dragons 5 add or removed something that they totally changes their game dynamics. Like, I don't know, 5 added this mechanic that sucks and I don't very much like it, or oh no, 5 removed this mechanic that that really relied so much upon. Fuck them, no. All in all, I have no idea why they chose to go with 3.5 instead of 5. And that is one of the universe mysteries that I'll possibly never get an answer to. Not because it's a very impossible mystery to solve, but mostly because it's not a very important mystery. It's like, sure, whatever. That's their preference. What can I say? What can I do? If I find them and ask them, I might get an answer, but whenever I find them, that's the last thing I remember asking. Because there will always be more current topics to talk about, so that will get forgotten. And thus, that question will never get asked or answered. So who knows? Shadow says, I think it's more like a monk now, I guess. Kun says, could be. I never played older D&D, only 5e. They do that all the time. I know Shaman was a class at some point. Shadow says, oh yeah, they do. Even races. And yep, Minotaur was a race before they took it out and put it back in. Warforged 2, 3.5 I guess. And Kun says, could be. Each system has very different rules. I don't know anything about 3.5. And Shadow, you know it's 3.5 because of D&D Online. The game is based on that version. Well then. I wonder when 3.5 is from though. Like, is it from... which year? Possibly the early 20s. Or early 90s. 1990. or late 90s rather. Oh well. So, Apex Legends, am I right? Apparently people have been enjoying that one delicious game quite a lot as of late. And apparently that's a thing. True as well. It's a new battle royale game that people have grown accustomed to, and people are saying that it's like ridiculously good, and that it might be a first step onto redeeming EA to the eyes of everyone else, or at least that's what Raygorn was saying on the Discord the other day. That he had a problem and he mailed EA's support, and they gave him a very straight, concise answer, and he was like, "Oh, cool, neato. EA is actually good. It's back to being good, or rather, slowly returning to its good form and shape." And I also have seen people on Reddit going like, "Oh no, Activision is the real devil now," with their new quote-unquote business model. Because from what I have seen and heard, Activision is apparently they charge like $60 for Call of Duty, plus another $40 for a season pass, plus money for loot boxes, which can rack up to the house of the hundreds of dollars. And they have been doing that forever, so go figure. Whereas EA have decided to go and say, "Hey, you know what, gamers, quote unquote, if you want EA games, you can have them. Just pay our monthly fee, and then you can get access to the EA Trove or whatever they call it, and then you can go and play any of our games for free." Quote unquote, because you have to pay a monthly fee. But you play nothing other than the monthly fee, and if you play the monthly fee, you also get discounts on these games that you can play in case you decide to cancel your monthly fee afterwards. And that's a very nice little system that they have going on. One that I actually approve of. Because I mean, just imagine if Steam had some sort of subscription program, like you pay $20 a month, or $25 even, I don't know. But every game that is older than 4 or 5 months that is on Steam catalog, you can play it. Wouldn't it be worthwhile? Like, oh, this game on Steam is slightly older than it has just become 5 months or older. Now I can play it, and you don't even have to pay for games. And if you don't like a game, you don't even have to fuss over refunds or whatever. And you can play all of these early access games that are around. It would be amazing. The problem would be that how do you share revenue then? Since sure, the players are paying like the $20 monthly to pay for to play any game in the library, but how can they tell who these $20 go to? Like, do they go to the big developers? Do they go to the indie devs? Do everyone gets a fair share? Like, everyone gets a a few cents, does the person that played, does the game that was played, do they only give revenue to the games that were played during that period? How do they quantify that? So no wonder Steam hasn't done something like that, but EA has, and that is amazing in itself. Because Origin also has some games that are not EA. It also has some games from other companies. I don't know if they are on there though. I don't think they are. But if they were, then wow. Origin would have finally become a good thing with a system like that. But anyway, because currently the only problem that we have with EA, that I have with EA, truly, is that all of their games are incredibly expensive over here. Normally games are like $60, $50, and over here that gets on Steam that gets translated to 130, 190 Brazilian bucks, depending on the publisher. But if it's like a game that is internationally released, then it releases here like 250 bucks, which is more than 4 times the price. It's 5 times the price, because hooray, it's Brazil, we can charge extra for digitally distributed goods, which is not a thing whatsoever. But anyway, they charge 200 something bucks for the games, and that's what they have been doing with games that release here in Brazil, like Anthem. If we go to buy it on EA store, it's 240 Brazilian bucks, I think, and that is $60 times 4, I think it is. But still, it's incredibly expensive, and that's the only thing that I don't like about EA. But other than that, they are actually kind of okay-ish. They're not amazing though. And also, hello there, Tiger. Woof to you. I have asked you a question, but you didn't answer. I guess you weren't even there. What I have asked is that do you intend to play Dungeons and Dragons with us this weekend? I wonder. I ponder and I wonder. And Kun, you said looks like 2003 was when 3.5 was a thing. And Kun, you also said there's no redeeming EA. And Shadow says burn EA, burn. Kun, you also said that they can release good games, but they're still the devil. And Shadow says you ruined the Sims. I used to love EA, but they don't deserve your love anymore. Activision is devil too. They also kind of murdered Crash Bandicoot. Oh wait, if you bark, hear dogs bark in the stream? What? Oh yeah, they do. Every once in a while, at least. And Shadow says, Douglas, The Sims 4 is 2,000 Brazilian reais if you get the complete game. Oh yes, I know. That's why you don't buy games normally. You buy them only on sales. The hell kind of person do you think we are? Person that buy game when they release? Hell no, we buy them games on sales. Not a single game that I have ever bought has been worth buying on release. All of them was like, I could have bought it on a sale and it would have been the same experience. Maybe it would have been even better. Because for example, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I have played that game like endlessly. I have sunk in more than 80 hours into that game and have yet to fully finish it because it's like it's open-ended, like nothing else. And I have yet to finish that game, and it's already going on sales. So if I had waited until now and bought the game now, I could have saved myself some money. It's not like I played the game on release and because of that specific thing I had a different experience from people who are playing now. The only difference really of playing on release is that I was able to play before anyone else, and because of that people looked for me to ask my opinion on the game, like, hey, is it worth it? Should I buy it? Should I pass on it? Do you recommend it? But that's like that's improving or diminishing the experience of others, not mine. It only made me into a target for queries, and not made my game experience better. So there's no point really to buying a game on release unless you really want to play the game or you really want to support the franchise or whatever. But for example, Life is Strange 2. I played Life is Strange 1. I think I bought Life is Strange 1 like right on release when they released the first episode. I had already bought the complete season. I was like, sure, I'm into it. Let's go. I didn't even have a single idea of what Life is Strange was gonna be about, but I already went and bought the complete season. And every 2 to 3 months I got to play a new episode when they came out. And then in the long run I ended up having one of the coolest gaming experiences of all time, feeling all sorts of feels and whatnot. And I grew really attached to the game, and I was like, wow, bravo, I want more of this in my life, please. I want to feel sad and depressed again over real concerns. And then they released Life is Strange Before the Storm, but I didn't jump into it. They also released the Fantastic Adventures of Captain Awesome, or whatever it was called. And that one I played on release, but only because it was free. But Before the Storm, I only played it. I only played Before the Storm once all the game had been released. And same thing with Life is Strange 2. I haven't bought it. I'm only gonna buy it and play it when the entire game is released. Because I played Life is Strange. I know how gut-wrenching the game got. After playing this or that one episode and then waiting months for the next one, I said, you know what? My game experience was not improved by playing the game unreleased. In fact, it was detrimented because I couldn't remember certain facts and events and certain characters. So it's not a good idea for me to play Life is Strange on release. So I'm holding out on Life is Strange 2. I'm waiting for the game to be fully out before I go in and make the jump and buy it. Same thing with other games. Maybe if you can hold on and wait a little bit before buying it, it's totally worth it. You get to pay less, you play the same game, maybe even a better version, because it's been patched and people have, you know, gone through the issues and corrected things in the game. In fact, Life is Strange, I even had a worse experience by playing it before everyone else, because originally in Life is Strange last episode, there was this dream sequence of sorts, and what you had to do in that dream sequence was gather bottles. Actually, even in the previous episode you also had to gather bottles, but you also had to do that in the dream sequence. And it was incredibly annoying because it halted the game so hard for such a long time, and these bottles were impossible to find. So everyone complained, and developers said, "Okay, we're gonna change that puzzle, make it easier and faster to complete." And then they changed it, and now people that play the game now are gonna go through a lighter version of this bottle hunting. Whereas though when I played, I didn't get that. I played the original version, which was sucky and horrible on this whole bottle hunting adventure. So there's no real benefit to buying games on release. So if you're not gonna buy a game on release, you're gonna buy it cheaper. The Sims is not gonna be 2,000 Brazilian reais, it's gonna be cheaper in some form or another. So there you go. And also, The Sims has always been like that. Ever since the first The Sims, they have been releasing expansion packs with more content and more whatever. So you can't even go and say, hey, EA is trying to steal players' money by launching DLC for The Sims and shit. They have always been doing that, ever since the first Sims that released all the way back in 2000, and all its expansions that released all the way from 2001 until 2003. The game has always been like that. So they're just continuing a decade-long practice of releasing The Sims and then afterwards releasing expansion packs for the game. But I feel you. I too used to look up to EA, and I was always like, wow, I wanna grow up. I wanna be like EA. I wanna work for EA or something. But nowadays I'm like, EA is kinda, Nowadays I don't feel very passionate about EA anymore. I don't feel passionate about EA at all. But anyway. Shadow says, so I did some math and it's interesting. So like this year D&D 6th edition, it's supposed to get released. Really? Why do you say so? Marcus, you got a funny clip. What is that? What is happening in that funny clip? Inside my body right now. My dog, I need that. Inside my body right now. Well, you're right about that, Mark, because I totally 100% need that thing inside of my body. But I also like this other clip here of Mr. X giving me the hand. Oh, come on. Mr. X, no. Yes, go away. Really? The game is just like, he's gonna come around, and then when he does, we're gonna get him. His delicious canine butt, you better believe we will. And they did. I like that clip, it's very funny. And on your barking, singing to me the song of your people. My dog, what's happened? What's up, Onisimo? And Shadow says Nani, and yeah, but they removed the content that was already in The Sims just so they use DLC for the basic. That's the problem. Not really. Kinda. Cause you see, stuff in The Sims, yes, they have added it as part of DLC, but other stuff they have added as expansions, of course. But some things that they had removed in previous The Sims that I also said, oh shit, EA is shooting its own feet. Why would they do that? Now they are adding those things as updates to the game, as free updates. Because what do they know? We're in the 21st century. Games can release in one way, shape, or form and be updated in the future for free in, I don't know, monthly releases or monthly updates or whatever. And they did. This feature that was missing in The Sims, they eventually added it as part of an update. It just took like quite a while. but eventually they did re-add it back to the game. Of course, though, it's still a bitter taste that was left in our mouths after seeing EA go and do that. And I still think that The Sims 3 is a better game because of certain mechanics, such as the game not needing to load everything in the entire world as you go out. Because for me, one of the most annoying things about The Sims was, oh, I'm going out to this or that place, and then the entire game just stops and has to load a different map. And when I used to play The Sims in my older computer, it was not a very good computer, so the loading took forever. And I was a young kid, so forever took even longer because time goes by very slowly when you're a kid. So yeah, it wasn't fun. But yeah, The Sims 3, I still think it's the better The Sims game of them all. Even though I haven't seen all the other things they have done for The Sims 4, I still think that in a way they're kinda driving it to the right place by slowly adding content and slowly making the game as good as it used to be. In fact, I thought that The Sims 3 was gonna be the last. I thought that they were gonna release The Sims 3 and then from then onwards they had the perfect game and they were just gonna be adding expansion packs up the wazoo, but no. Randomly they decided, you know what? Fuck it. Let's release The Sims 4. And that's when I said, now, okay, yeah, no, stop it. Why? There's nothing else to add to The Sims anymore. You already made the perfect life simulator almost. Just improve what you already have. You don't need to release another one. But no, they did go release another one and it was more of the same. In fact, it was less of the same. The Sims 3, the base The Sims 3 game was better than the base The Sims 4 game when it released. So that's weird. But anyway. And The Sims 3 is also available on Steam, which is super duper cool. Also, holy dog damn. Shadow. My dog, Wolf Morning. Welcome to the stream and thank you so very much. I can't words. Thank you so very much for this delicious raid. How's it going? How are you doing in this gorgeous day of the fry? Hands up, you say. Hands up, no. Not gonna give you my contents. My delicious precious contents and noms. They're mine. How are you doing, Shadow? You're doing okay? How about me? I'm doing fine myself. As it happens, I'm performing rhymes because I'm being a fine canine. Finishing up the line art for this comic page here, and once the line art is finished, you know it, I'm gonna go and do the coloring, then do the backgrounding, and then gonna do the posting, which includes but isn't limited to the lettering. I also have to go and post the free pages today on the other sites as well. Oh man, it's good to be back to the morning schedule where I can do all this crazy stuff. Not be judged by anything or anyone. And then it says, raid me daddy. No, Oni, we will not raid you or any of your bodily parts. And Shadow, you say gonna go do some cleaning, but I'm a lurk. Sure thing, Shadow. Thanks for the raid again, and happy lurking. And Tiger, you're gonna lurk as well. Dog damn it, I keep trying to ask you stuff, but you don't answer me. Oh well. And then you say just spending your GBP, and Marcus says, here, Doug, for later. A mate on my group scared you. Oh my dog, I'm gonna watch that. Poor Marcus getting spooked. I have saved that. I will check that later. As soon as our stream finishes in about 45 minutes. Because we all know that's the perfect best time to get things going. And Tiger says, yeah, see that lurking, and oops, stop lurking. Yeah, please don't go back to lurking, because I have a question to ask you. I asked you if you plan to play D&D with us on this weekend. For no particular reason, really. Just asking it so I know who and how many players we're gonna be having, if we get enough players to form a party. I mean, I think we will. We'll have more than enough players to form a party. I just want to know how big a party it will be. And Kun says you're at your computer but not exactly active. And Kun, you also said this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, time, question mark. And I thought about Sunday. Because you know, Day of the Sun is one of the coolest days because most people are available. Not everyone has work, not everyone has school, not everyone has responsibilities as an adult who is respectable and independent to varying degrees. So Day of the Sun is possibly the best day for us to get organized and get games going and stuff. Problem is time. I don't know what time, because I still don't know who is going to be joining us. As for me, I believe that almost any time goes. There isn't really a limit to how early or how late it could be or it could go. But if it's like Sunday morning to me, all of you guys who are in America, it's gonna be like incredibly early. If it's night for me, like 10 p.m. here is like 8 p.m. for you guys. So if it's too late for some of you, such as say from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. for some of you, it might be incredibly late for me, so I'm not 100% sure I'll be able to be here in those times. So it's still a thing we gotta see. But as far as it goes, I'm good the entire Sunday. The entirety of it, I'll be alright. Now it just depends on you guys. And Tiger says, I'm not sure what time where you planning might be if you are available. If you are available. Yeah, I don't have a target time per se. I thought like the afternoon might be good. After my lunch and before my dinner. So anything between 1 in the afternoon and 7 in the afternoon would be good to me. Anything too late, like, would kind of get crazy. But anything too early might also get crazy. So I don't know. Depends more on you guys. And also we have such a varied group with people all over the place, so getting those things synchronized is tricky. But I'll be posting more on that on the Discord. I'll also be asking people more directly and suggesting time frames that so people can quote unquote vote on what they want, and then we can see it more precisely. I do realize that I'm also delegating a lot of choices and stuff, and that's not very good. For the one person who is organizing everything should be delegating everything as well. Okay, there we go. I think I'm done with the line art for this entire page. So now we can cancel the sketch layer and start coloring. Hooray! Shadow says, so about Dungeons and Dragons 6th edition math you did. 1st edition to 2nd edition was 15 years apart. 2nd edition to 3rd edition was 11 years. 3.5 included. 3rd edition to... not 3rd yet. Shadow, it's 3rd. 3rd, 3.5 included. To 4th edition was 8 years, and 4th edition to 5th edition was 6 years. So the time in between each edition is lower each time, and something nice is that it's a constant change. 15 minus 4 is 11, 11 minus 3 is 8, 8 minus 2 is 6, and 6 minus 1 is 5 of different to D&D 6th edition. Maybe, I don't know. Because, I mean, the faster you release new editions, the trickier it gets, because with old editions getting obsolete that fast, it becomes really tricky with certain things. I don't know if they're still like using older editions to release official adventures, but I guess that they're gonna finish releasing a handful of adventures for the current edition before they truly go and release a new edition. I also think that they're gonna be pseudo playtesting other editions. Like a 6th edition, they're gonna be doing a lot of playtesting, getting players involved, and asking everyone like, hey, how about this, how about that? And to organize playtesting sessions and whatnot, it takes a while as well. They're gonna fiddle with the rules, so I don't know if it's gonna be any shorter, Shadow. They might take the same time it took from the 4th to the 5th, but I don't think it'll be shorter. Otherwise, they won't have enough time to run all the adventures. They might still be planning for it. And Bad Aim Kun, you will be leaving your boyfriend's place at around 8 PM your time Sunday. Noni says, do you fraggle his rocks? The fraggling may happen, oh no. Taga says, true. And then it says, oh my dog, how spicy, Kun? Shadow says, oh no, I made a mistake, lol. Oni says, I forgot to say, those who buy a coffee, new supporters get a drawing for free as a thanks. Oh my dog, that's so kind of you, Oni. And Shadow says, Oni, I'll buy you a coffee, but I don't have any character shit yet. Just make one up and he will work on it. What do you mean, Shadow? I think you and Kun are the only ones who have a character shit done. What are you talking about even? Are you trying to bamboozle me? Because let me tell you, the last person who tried to bamboozle me got bit. Also very hard in their butts. Alright, let's create a color layer. Let's start drawing colors in it. Chop colors up and down the wazoo in this layer. And Kun says I'll help with character creation too if anyone needs it. Tiger says, been messing around on mine. Oh, that's cool. Shadow says, what are you talking about, Doug? I don't know. I thought I was talking about thing A, but you guys were talking about thing orange, so I'm definitely lost and confused, but that's okay. That's my default state. I'm always confused and always lost on the subject. I never know what's going on, so don't mind me. Pay me no attention. Just keep on doing what you were doing and worry not. I will be going away. Except I won't, because I'm the streamer. I'm the host. I'm the one who streams. So I'll be here streaming and keeping up with this thing that I'm doing. Also, little do you know, I have started watching we have started watching this past few days that new Netflix show called Umbrella Academy. Aside from the name feeling a little bit too on the nose, it seems to be a lovely little interesting show. I'm enjoying this far. I found it very odd as well that Umbrella Academy seems to be written by the ex My Chemical Romance vocalist Gerard something, and it is illustrated by a Brazilian comic artist, illustrator, or whoever. So that's dope. I forget that I decided to make my life easier and say, you know what, fuck it, everyone's gonna have black eyebrows, but for whatever reason I don't do that during line art. I leave it for coloring, which I shouldn't. Also, I think with each page I overdo this guy's eyebrows even more. I think that with each issue his eyebrows get thicker and thicker and bigger and bigger. And eventually they're gonna get out of control. It's gonna get to the point that you're like, whoa. Boy, your eyebrows are out of control. We need to send the next Terminator to deal with them. Otherwise they're gonna get too big. Too wild. But yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, Shadow. So don't pay me no mind. And Oni says if you press the window key and down you can make the drawing bigger. What? What are you talking about, Oni? You're talking about the secret Windows shortcut to reverse the monitor, to make it upside down. Oni, are you trying to troll / bamboozle me? Because if you are, you dog then believe I'm gonna confiscate all of your kibbles and your squeaky toy. And don't you dare doubt me. I will confiscate your squeaky toys and your kibbles. I don't know how, but I will. Tiger says, will he soon just have eyebrows for a face? Possibly. I mean, might as well. So I need the color of the teeth and the color of the jacket. So coloring can go smoothly. Also, what? Only says bigger brows, or Shadow says, "Hey Doug, you live with your lion." I can't English, sorry. Let me try that again. Hello Douglas. Do you currently reside with your boyfriend the lion? Yes, Shadow, I do. We live together. We have been living together since 2015, so that's 4 years? I can't math as well, sorry. There's a lot of stuff I can't do. It's amazing how I'm able to stand up straight every morning when you consider the amount of stuff I can't do. I mean, fuck, Doug, why? Why do you do this, Doug? You know that's not how his tie is, and yet you went and illustrated like that anyway. Somehow like you want to go back and redo those things, don't you? Oh, Doug. Shame on you. You keep on talking about things with your friends and not paying attention to your work. Then you end up and you do fuck-ups. You shouldn't do fuck-ups, Doug. They take too much time to fix. Time which you don't have. I mean, you kinda have, but you... Still. Be mindful, Doug. Be very, very mindful of those mistakes. Luckily this one was easy to correct, so it didn't take too much. And also, Doug, damn you, Oni, with your squeaky toy. I was concentrated. It caught me out off guard. And Oni says, "No, don't do that. I'll be a good boy. And Daddy Theo will beat you, and you're not in the kinky way." Exactly. And Shadow says, "Oh boy, that's some coincidence. You're with your boy since 2015 too. Oh, lucky you." That's nice. That's mighty nice. Or as some say, lucky you. Very lucky. That's racist, so I won't go and say that thing which I just said, which is very racist, so don't do that. And Tiger says, going towards 4 would be what I say, but yay. I wish you and your lion the best. Yes, 4 indeed, because I moved here at the very beginning of 2015, and it's the beginning of 2019, which means I have been here at 4 years. So that's a long time to be together with a person. And according to what a friend was telling me, shout out to Necroy who told me this weirdly relevant information. Apparently, if you're, according to rules and shit, if you, here in Brazil, if you have been living with a person for 2 months and you decide to go away, you can legally ask for a separation of stuffs. So you can say so you can go and say, "Hey, I have lived with them for a long time. I have dedicated my life to them and their cause. I want half of everything they have over there." I'm not 100% sure that that's, you know, true, because that sounds ridiculous if it is true. But if it is true, then dog them. Law here is crazy. But just imagine if after 2 months of living with a person and things don't work out and you go away, or rather the person goes away, then they show up out of nowhere and say, "Hey, I want half of your stuff because we live together for enough time for the law to consider us as, you know, to consider me as entitled to some of your belongings, even though I collaborated with nothing and made your life miserable." So I'm not 100% sure about that. Hence why I'm shouting out to Necroy. on the information, because if it's wrong, then he gets the blame. Or if he's right, he also gets the blame. Why do I bring that up though? Just because it's relevant, I guess. Kun, you said talks about living with boyfriend mentions not being able to stand up straight with the things you do. Taking so out of context. What? What? And Shadow says, what the fuck, that can't be true. Yes, I also doubt that. But who knows? If that is true, it is like basis for lots of shenanigans and exploitations. Although, however, let me tell you guys a little bit of a little story that happened as we were traveling across the Southern American countryside, like I told you guys I would be doing. So, to no surprise of any one of you, last month me and my lion, we were traveling. Surprise, we were traveling. And as we woke up each and every day, we would be driving, I mean the lion would be driving, and I would be browsing stuff on the cell phone, like looking for a gas station and place where we could get money and the best routes and whatever. I was looking for updates on things that I thought was relevant. And one thing I also did every morning was kind of go and I would not hire, what's the term? I would book a hotel. Like, okay, our objective today is to reach this city under this or that name. Okay, so we're gonna do that. But we can't just show up there and hope that they have rooms for us, so might as well go online beforehand and book the room that we're gonna be staying in. Wait, what? Oh, okay. So I would go and book the room through my cell phone. And during one of the days of travel, I was like, we had an objective in mind, but at midway we decided, hey, we can actually stretch our travel time a little bit and make it to the other city. And then my lion said, okay, let's wait until a little bit further, then we can see if the car is actually doing good, if we don't need to make a stop or whatever. Then we'll decide. And then, what do you know, we decided, okay, let's go and make this later stop. We decided to go a little bit further. And so I decided to book the hotel later during the day. Problem is, later during the day, we were without internet signal, because apparently the internet signal in some parts of the countryside are not that good in Argentina. So what happened is that I was kind of panicking because we were reaching our destination and I still hadn't booked the hotel. So when the internet came by and I got a little internet for a little while, I quickly went as swiftly as possible, booked a hotel. And as soon as I finished booking, like 1 minute passed by and I lost connection fully. I was like, phew, thank dog, I was able to book this hotel right in time. And then I got a glimpse of suspicion of, hey, maybe I did something wrong, let me go check. And then I checked and I saw that I had booked the hotel for another day, not for the current day which we're gonna be staying. I booked it for like 2 weekends ahead of time. And then I said, shit, I need to go and cancel this reservation. But the reservation was like, they had this no cancel thing, so you couldn't cancel your reservation. Or rather, you could cancel, but if you canceled, if you canceled your reservation, you wouldn't be able to refund the money you spent on it. So it was like, sure, you can cancel, but we're gonna keep your money. And I tried to talk with the people. We got to the hotel. We rebooked on the right date. We talked to the hotel like, hey, I misbooked this date and I need help to cancel and because we spoke Portuguese and the attendant spoke Spanish, it was kind of hard to get the message across. But after we did, she said, no, we can't cancel here. You have to talk to the place where you did the booking. They are the ones who are gonna cancel your appointment, and the ones who are gonna return the money. And we said, sure, we will talk to them. And since we were so close to getting back home, we decided, nah, let's do that when we're back home, because I tried to do it on the road, and apparently roaming phone calls costs a lot of money. So I said, sure, well, when we get back home, we're gonna go and take a look at that. And then we did get home, we took a look at that, and we just wait, this story is going places. We got back home and we called. I called the booking site and said, hey, I misbooked this hotel thing for yet a few weeks from now, and I want to cancel that. And they said, oh, okay, I'll see what I can do. And then they came back and said, oh no, this reservation is the cancel but no refunds type. So if you cancel it, we won't be able to refund you of any money. And I said, wait. Really, you really cannot do anything to return me my money? Can't you do anything for me? Aren't there any options I have? And the guy said, just a moment, I'll check. Then he put me on hold for a few minutes, and then he came back and said, nope. The most I can do, he said these words to me, the most I can do is we can transfer your passage to another, you can transfer your reservation to another person, that they can use that for their booking, but you cannot cancel it. And then my boyfriend, he came and said, hey, ask them about the regret law or something to that something that sounds like kind of like that. I don't know the name of the name it would have in English, but it's something like that, like kind of regret law or something. And the idea behind the regret law is that if you buy anything online, you have a 7-day period to cancel that and get a full refund with no questions asked. It's a federal law here in our country, so no matter where you are in our country, you can use that. You can ask for that rule. And the site that did the booking is a national site thing. So the platform is national. It's in Brazil. We called them when we were back in Brazil, so we had grounds for things to work out. So I said, hey, what about this law, the I regretted law? And they said, just a moment. And then they put me on hold for another few minutes. Like the first time they put me on hold when I said, hey, isn't there anything I can do? They said, just a moment. They put me on hold for like 5-8 minutes. But then when I said, hey, how about the I regret it law? And they put me on hold for less than a minute, and they came back and they said, well, sure, we're gonna go and do a complete total refund of everything you spent, and we're gonna return your money, we're gonna cancel the reservation and stuff. And just like that, I said, I mentioned the law, and they said, oh shit. And then they went and canceled the thing, and they undid all those things they said they couldn't undo. And just like that, I got my money back, and I got it cancelled, and everything worked out in the end. And I was like, hooray! I'm not gonna have a hole in my pocket of 1,000 Brazilian reais, which is a lot of money. Because not only did I misbook the reservation, I also misbooked it for like 4 days. So it was 4 days worth of that expensive fare. So anyway, a lot of times that rules that, you know, that these sort of bananas rules exist, a lot of people don't know that they exist. So for example, I did not know about this rule, and if my boyfriend hadn't told me that, hey, this rule exists and you should ask about it, I would not have known about it, and I would have said, well then shit, I'm fucked. I can't return this, I can't refund this, and I have lost my money. What can I do? They said I can't do anything. So, and not only that, but I asked them if there wasn't something I could do, and they said no, there's nothing you can do. So, but as soon as I say, hey, what about this law, then they changed their tone right on the second. So they knew about this rule. They just didn't tell me about it. So they were not intent on helping me to begin with. So yeah, I don't doubt, even though it sounds ridiculous, I don't doubt that there is a rule, a law, that if you live with someone for like 2 months, you can go and ask for a goods division or whatever, for them to give you half of their stuff. I don't doubt that such a rule exists, even though it sounds ludicrous, because there's a lot of rules out there that we common people who didn't go to law school just don't know that they exist. So I don't doubt that such a rule might exist, but it does sounds bonkers and completely bananas. So that's the thing. Also, be right back, just a second. Okay, I'm back. And Shadow, you said that the stream is dying. It's turning HD. That's how it dies. It gets too good. And Oni says, damn Neku. And Shadow says, oh Doug, you naughty boy. What? I have done nothing. And Oni says, you said the 7-day timeline starts on the date immediately after the hiring of the service or of the delivery of the product, not being interrupted on holidays or weekends. If the date immediately after hiring the service or delivery of the product is not a business day, or if it falls on a holiday, the beginning of such period should be postponed to the following business day. If the final day for the consumer to invoke the right of regret should fall on the date on which the sales establishment is, yep, it's the regret law. It works for hiring and purchases. Yes, of everything done online. That's what we learned. If you bought something online, which was the case, you can summon the law. So hooray for that. But anyway, you guys, my lion is back home and we're gonna get lunch, and it's already time to end the stream. I'm gonna end like 10 minutes earlier, but I'm hungry, we're hungry, and it's time to go and have some noms. But nonetheless, I want to thank you all for showing up, watching the stream, being here with us, doing, you know, stuff, all sorts of stuff. And I don't think we will be seeing each other until next week, that day being Monday. But until then, until we get to actual Monday, there might be the possibility that we may end up playing RPG games on the stream this weekend. So keep an eye out for that. Other than that, make sure you also join the Twitter and the Discord. I always say when I'm gonna be doing stream on those places, so it's a good place to be following me at. And other than that, I'll be seeing you guys next time. Let's raid the Buff Pup, who is playing some art school, I guess. I don't know what that is, but let's check it out and give them a delicious hello. And also tell them that Doug sent you. And if you're a subwoofer of my channel, please spam the shit out of their chat with delicious dog emotes. And Marcus says thanks for streaming, Doug. Shadow said also thanks for the streaming. And Coons, food for you soon too. And you and Tiger says bye. Bye everyone. Stay awesome. Have a awesome weekend, and as always, stay awesome. And bye bye.